Hello and good evening from the St. Louis Park High School Athletic Field. I'm Bruce Homer along with John Fromm, and we're back to 2017 football. John, great to be here. What a beautiful night for a game, and it's just always a pleasure to have you join me for telecast here.
Well, and if you looked at the data, as we are building champions for life here at St. Louis Park, great shot by Kurt, or one of our crack crew of Paul Broden and staff. Really excited for Ben Wolf and his crew for St. Louis Park. It is August 31st. 3 big football games going on. The Vikings are playing, the Gophers are playing. But if you're anywhere near St. Louis Park, hopefully you're here tonight at the high school park.
Yeah, as we mentioned, what a great day. Temperature like 72 degrees for game time. And an opportunity for the St. Louis Park Orioles as they're facing a Kennedy team that struggled in 2015-16 year, or 16, I should say. They were 0-8. They were shut out, John, 3 times and only scored in double digits twice throughout the season. For the St. Louis Park Orioles, they finished the season 1-7 in the regular season, and then did win a section game. And John, you can maybe elaborate on that a little bit.
For Coach Ben Wolf and his crew, graduated a lot of seniors last year, but the Orioles, as Bruce mentioned, 1-7 in the regular season, 2-8 overall. But if you're an Oriole fan, 2-2 in your last 4 games. The Orioles with a win over Park Center in Week 7, and then they took Minneapolis Southwest out to the woodshed with a 49-0 win in the playoffs before succumbing to a great Spring Lake Park team, 35-14. So a couple wins in their last 4 games. First game of the season for both teams. The Orioles have 6 or 7 seniors that saw a lot of two-way action and play out there. You're going to see a lot of them tonight, and we will have plenty to comment on before we get going.
St. Louis Park's only win in 2016 during the regular season was a 29-21 win against Park Center. St. Louis Park will be in the black uniforms. Kennedy white, black, and gold. Kicking off will be Scott Rodelius Palmer. Kick returners Terrell Davis Barber and Santos Ortiz. High kick, short. It's going to bounce, take a Kennedy bounce.
And a live ball.
And the Orioles recover it.
A live
onside kick. Right, that was interesting because Kennedy did not go after that very hard.
Look at the excitement. A pooch kick only about 25 yards in the air, and our crack staff is going to see that landed it. And Peyton Morrison, you're going to hear a lot of his name, the big senior. Peyton Morrison, who plays middle linebacker and also offense.
I think Kennedy was really surprised how short that kick was, and St. Louis Park got down in a hurry. They did a great job. I don't know, if that was really set for necessarily as an onside kick, but the play worked. So for the Orioles, they'll have Sorensen at quarterback. Sahid Natham is running back, and that's Natham.
You see Johnny Sorensen as a 3rd year on the varsity for Johnny, a 3-sport star who stars on the baseball team. As the Orioles are going to go to the no huddle here and try to pick Kennedy off balance. You'll see a lot of work at wideout as well.
Should mention Natham, a sophomore, and this is Sorensen. He rolls to his left. He's under some pressure. May have to just dump this one out of bounds, and actually threw it in coverage, and fortunately for the Orioles, it was incomplete.
Looked like he tried to hit Mitchell that time, the junior wideout. Johnny, we saw a little bit, as you remember last year, as a junior, he played 2 or 3 games at the quarterback position. I believe he had 8 successful completions as a quarterback. Really a great athlete, as we mentioned, a great hockey player for St. Louis Park, exceptional left-handed pitcher and hitter. And he's going to end up with, I believe, 9, if he keeps his health, he's going to end up with 9 letters by the time he graduates. So great athlete, great mobility back there at the quarterback slot.
See if he goes for Ferris, send player in motion to the left side. And the handoff. Natham, he goes down right away.
And Natham, just a sophomore there. Sorensen going to call the signals quickly. Looks like he's got Ryan Clares, the senior wide receiver, running back, split to one side. Claire's going to see the ball a lot tonight.
So 4th down for the Orioles.
Looks like we had movement on that offensive or defensive line. Is 63 for Bloomington Kennedy moved. We'll have to get a name on him, but you can see the encroachment is going to be whistled.
Yeah, that's going to be Stefan Mason.
Defensive encroachment.
So yeah, make sure you keep your eyes for Ryan Clares with Sorensen in the backfield handling the signal calling duties. He's a lefty as well, not necessarily, but he's so athletic and fast. He's so elusive, a lot like a Michael Vick type player.
Mitchell and Clares to the left side, to the right side for St. Louis Park. That's number 15, John.
Good audible
McKee.
here.
Yep. One thing we should mention, the Orioles are going for it here because it's too far for a field goal and too close to punt the ball. So this is the running back, Nathan, and he's brought down. Great pursuit by Kennedy that time. Number 26, Jalen Moore, in on the tackle.
And Moore really beat Medina and Christensen. Nicky Medina, the left tackle for St. Louis Park, and Tony Christensen, the left guard. They're unable to sustain the blocks, and going horizontally as opposed to vertically is going to cost the Orioles a possession here.
Interesting, the Orioles didn't put the ball up in the air that time, but
yeah, you know, we talked a little bit. Well, we'll get to the next play.
That may be a situation too where you're running some set plays to see how the other team responds. So quarterback McGaffey.
Looked like Montario Southard, one of the wideouts, along with Connor Lynch for Kennedy. Santos Ortiz out there. Michael McCarthy, a senior signal caller. There you see the different lineups with Connor Lynch, Brandon Showstrand at tight end for Kennedy. You know, we had Kennedy and Park is a long rivalry, as you know. Back in the old Lake South days, this was a normal game as part of the schedule, but these teams now in a different section. So there you take a look at McCaffrey, the senior quarterback.
And Terrell Davis Barber, the running back. Does that not sound like a professional football player?
Look at that.
Got a combination of Terrell Davis and Marion Barber in all in one.
That's number 28. And any of you fantasy football players from back in the day will certainly remember Terrell Davis from the Denver Broncos.
There's Orioles defense.
Yeah, you see Gabriel Lopez Barrera, Morrison.
Barrera had a great year last year, too, for the St. Louis Park Orioles.
Dvorak, a great athlete at cornerback as well. Achille Ferris, we called his name a lot, and Karan Adams last year.
Yes, you do have some veterans on this defensive team.
McCaffrey getting some help that time.
And this is Davis Barber. Tries to cut inside. Pulled down. We see a late flag.
28 Davis Barber on the carry.
I tell you what, Morrison from his outside linebacking position, the senior, I believe he was second in the team last year in tackles. I know he had 9 against Spring Lake Park in the last game of the year. Really keep an eye on Peyton Morrison, him along with Morelli, the sophomore at middle linebacker, Barrera and Riley, because the Orioles run a 3-4 defensively, and they don't necessarily put a ton of expectations or pressures on their defensive ends, Gutierrez or Dedefro. So their linebackers really have to support the run and be really athletic.
And John, the referee picked up the flag on that, so there's no infraction on that play, and it's going to be third down for Kennedy.
So Orioles in that.
Kennedy sends Ortiz to the near side. Looks like it's going to be Lynch and Southard on the far side. A lot of pressure, and he's going down. McCaffrey is taken down by Lopez Barrera.
Boy, we mentioned Lopez Barrera from his outside linebacking spot. He almost went untouched, and he made sure to wrap up low on the ankle, and he got the high shin there and made sure to wrap him up.
Yes, so the Orioles are going to force a punting situation now for the Bloomington Kennedy Eagles. Punting will be Trey Madison, and back for the St. Louis Park Orioles, be Karan Adams. And looks like number 4.
Number 30, Madison back to punt.
Adam Bauer.
So Bauer played a lot last year as well.
Short punt. Sort of takes a side bounce and is going to be down at the 47-yard line. So good position for the St. Louis Park Orioles.
And nice job by Karan Adams that time. He was on the near side on the bottom of your screen. That was a short punt. He was 10 yards behind the play. He had a sideways bounce. No reason to run up there and try to pick it up and possibly fumble the ball. There you see Clint Ewald, one of the assistant coaches down on the side, back for, I don't know, roughly his 50th year of coaching as he's helping out. And his grandson will be hopefully playing some this year for the Orioles.
Back to pass. Sorensen has a player streaking wide open. It's caught. Down to the 6-yard line is Achille Ferris, who broke open right down the middle.
Number 17,
Yeah,
Sorensen
Ferris
pass
went
is
unchecked as the cornerback pushed off him. You can see him in the top of the screen there, just unchecked right through the safety and the cornerback.
Yeah, Sorensen threw a little behind him.
Right, otherwise
Ferris did a really good job getting that ball.
I think Johnny was so surprised he was so far wide open. Here is the quick snap.
And that's Nathan off left tackle. Gets inside the 5-yard line.
You don't often see sophomores ever playing in varsity, let alone at a Nathan, good size for the sophomore running back, number 7 for St. Louis Park. And in this one, a lot of responsibilities in a one-back set when you have an elusive quarterback like Sorensen too. So he's got to pick up a lot of blocks, read a lot of audibles.
Sorensen rolls to the near side, tries to find an opening, and he is going to be pulled down for a loss of 5.
Looked like Terrell Williams, the senior, playing strong side linebacker, really, and a great athletic body.
5 Williams for the Eagles.
When you're running right as a left-handed thrower, though, you really, that's a tough read sometimes. Hopefully, if you don't have a guy out in the flat where you can hit, he looked like he wanted to turn it up and there wasn't anything there. Kennedy also played in a 3-4 set, but they've definitely got some girth at their nose guard position as Nick McCullen really can fill and cause some havoc to Jake Olson, the Oriole center.
Clares and Mitchell to the near side along with Ferris. On the play action, the throw to the corner, incomplete, intended for Ferris. It's going to bring up a 4th down for the Orioles.
Yeah, really nothing there. Held the blocks for a split second that time, but he was getting pursued mightily, and Johnny had to be very elusive to escape the onrush of Joe Draves there from the defensive tackle spot.
Well, we're going to see a field goal attempt, a 25-yarder. This is going to be Skylar Rodelius Palmer. Orioles trying to get set up.
Sorensen on the hold in case anything goes awry. He's got good hands.
Low snap. The
Right
kick is
through the
up,
middle.
and it is good.
Wow, maybe the Vikings need to be looking in St. Louis Parkway if they have any field goal or extra point issues. That was straight between the uprights. So Skylar, the senior Rodelius Palmer, handling the kick duties, doing a nice job. Nice the Orioles can really capitalize early too. You know, get 3 on the board. We mentioned these former Lake Conference rivals, Kennedy and St. Louis Park. Bloomington Kennedy, of course, with some very famous alumni such as Kent Herbeck. Kent Herbeck, of course, wore the Eagle colors. Probably 40 years ago this week, he was a senior in '78 from Kennedy. He might have been on this field playing the Orioles in football. Who knows? So for the Orioles, as we mentioned, not a ton of returning senior talent, Bruce. We mentioned Sorensen and Dvorak. Ryan Clare is going to have to fill a big role this season. And then Camone Malone, the defensive back, Karan Robinson, Jacob Riley, Tony Christensen, Zach Munson, all going to have big roles. And Orioles are going to need a lot of two-way play. There you see Riley, Dvorak. Several of the starters for both sides are lined up on special teams. Morrison out there. So the Orioles really need to be in excellent shape.
Davis Barber, nope, goes to the up back. Looks like Oscar.
Number 24, Loveless.
Loveless. I hope, DeAndre Lovelace on the return there, the left cornerback. Somebody had yelled out Loveless. We don't want to say Loveless, it's Lovelace. So, but, you know, one of the things that's so difficult for St. Louis Park and Kennedy, you don't have a lot of numbers. So your kids have to play offense, defense, and even special teams, which means summer training and the 7-on-7 so important to be in the greatest shape you could be in.
It's really almost both teams here, John.
Right.
You look at the numbers compared to, like, when you look at an Eden Prairie team, their sideline goes all the way down from the 10-yard line to the 10-yard line. Here you can get both. You get your whole team from the 35 to midfield. So.
Right there, you take a look
The
at
ball carrier was Southern.
Adam Bauer looking over, number 4, the junior free safety. The free safeties and strong safeties for St. Louis Park, and Karan Adams is the strong safety, have a lot to do with the run support as well as picking up guys stray off the backfield. We'll see how the Orioles handle things.
Turner in the game. He lines up to the near side. Quarterback keeper this time, McCaffrey, and he was hit hard.
Boy, was he ever. And he went off his left side trying to follow the lead block of Tyler Nanoff. But for the Orioles, good pursuit, but it was really nice elusiveness for him to even get 3-4 yards out of that as he broke 2 tackles.
Yeah, you can see a nice tackle. 43 and for St. Louis Park was DeDefo and
Bauer helped out that
Yeah,
time.
and Karan Adams finished it. So
Yeah, it's Gutierrez, DeDeffel playing that defensive end slot, and then Jake Demisiak, only a sophomore at the nose guard slot. A tough pill to order as he's going against Denley Wenner, the center for Kennedy.
3rd down, 7. McCaffrey looks to the near side. Incomplete. Intended that time for Ortiz. It was defended nicely. You can see just a quick pass for Ortiz, but he would have gotten hit hard by the Orioles.
Take a look back there as the Orioles have Bauer and Adams, their safeties back there on kick return coverage again. Orioles trying to build off an early field goal, as it is Kennedy and St. Louis Park opening game of the 2017 season. We mentioned the Orioles won 2 of their final 4 games last season, including stomping all over Southwest 49-0 before losing to the state finalists from Spring Lake Park. And that was a good game. Orioles only down 15-8 at the half. So
Madison's punt. Bowers calling for a fair catch, fumbles it. Now he falls on it at the 25-yard line.
Adam had some space. I was surprised he threw the hand up for the quick fair catch right away, but he did, and thank goodness he responded immediately when it went through the wickets, and he turned. Bruce, he's trying to catch that off to his side like that. It's a good thing for all you young men watching out there. Make sure you square yourself up to the punt and cradle it into your midsection. You never want to catch a punt off to the side like that or turning. He was turning as he was trying to catch that, and that's why it went through the sticky wickets.
That's John doing a little coaching here from up in the press box. John, did you ever return kicks?
I was a multifaceted athlete growing up in St. Louis Park. Some comments. I was one of back in the day. Bruce and I played, ladies and gentlemen, when there were still 2 junior highs in St. Louis Park, and all the elementary schools had their own 5th and 6th grade team. The Aquila Eagles, the Cedar Manor Manures, or I forget what Cedar Manor was. Even back in the day, and then you'd graduate to either Westwood or Central for junior high. And those Westwood and Central games, Bruce, were wars on the gridiron. They were absolute wars.
We may have, is that Sledge back there now? Just trying to.
Yeah, hard to get a number.
Back to pass. Sorensen looks to the far side. Nice throw. And it's complete to Mitchell.
Yeah, Mitchell really beat his man cleanly. I believe he had he had Lovelace on the coverage, and he turned and beat him clean that time.
What I like about that is the zip that Sorensen had on that ball to the sideline. So.
Well, if you see Johnny throw a baseball, he's a lefty who can run it up there close to 85 already. So he can definitely zip it, and he knows how to use every piece in the arsenal. Trips to the bottom of the screen here. We'll see if the Orioles have planned.
Yeah, Mitchell clears and Ferris to the near side. The handoff. That's Sledge. And Sledge just works his way across the 45 to the 46. A little scuffle goes on.
Yeah, Samaj Mitchell getting in a little. There's some bad blood that time, and Samaj Mitchell just kind of put his hands up in the air and walked away, but 24, DeAndre Lovelace, unhappy with something.
He's not happy, went after a couple guys that time, and surprised he didn't. He could have very easily gotten called.
Yeah,
although there was a push.
Yeah, there was a push on both sides.
Mitchell started.
First game of the year, you want to prove your manhood, show that aggressive flair.
Sledge in the backfield. And we're going to get another encroachment on the Kennedy Eagles.
And I got to give a shout out. That's 2 of them already. Johnny's such a great athlete. He's probably changing his voice cadence to try to change the flow of the play. And he's got 2 encroachments already, probably just by using a good voice inflection.
What that does, too, now it's going to keep the defense pushing back a little bit instead of being able to rush right on that snap. So
right. Kennedy mixing it up now running a 4-3 set as they brought in one of their backup linemen I see here.
Sledge gets it up the middle, and again, good pursuit by the Eagles.
The Orioles, obviously running a 1-back set, and with Soren's elusiveness, have noticed we're running a lot behind the senior right guard, Josh Samaya, the senior. He got a lot of work last year. And then you've got Alejandro Carcaras at right tackle with some size at junior. Interesting to see if the Orioles will mix it up and go left, right, left, right.
Yeah, it was a great tackle that time by Terrell Williams. Keep the Orioles from a first down. See if they can get it here. This is going to be Sorensen. And Sorensen is brought down. We're going to be short of that first down.
Williams in part of the coverage there from the linebacking core. Oh, it looks like we might have a late call on a personal foul, maybe some unsportsmanlike conduct as 67, I believe is his number.
Well, if this foul is called on Kennedy, it's going to be a very tough call for them, and one that the coaches are going to be very upset because right now St. Louis Park is probably going to be forced to punt.
Right.
But this could give them a first down and really good field position.
And I didn't catch the number if that was 27 or I thought there was a 7 in it, but I don't know if we'll have a chance.
There is a 27 over there. Jeff McDonald.
Yeah, it wasn't unsportsmanlike on St. Louis Park.
Okay.
And it's offsetting and on Kennedy as well. So probably
fourth down.
Probably bad language. They're going to redo the play here. So that's actually an advantage for St. Louis Park because of the offsetting penalties. You get to redo the.
This is interesting. St. Louis Park has not moved the ball that well running the ball, but they're going to go for it here on fourth down.
And
maybe they try and draw him off.
Yep, it's a good idea, Bruce. Maybe
yep,
try to get.
You can see.
Yeah, he's looking over to Clint Ewald. Orioles going to do some motion to try to get some movement in that line, and then maybe you just take the.
Oh,
quick with Sorensen. And nobody there. You're going to get a good roll inside the 20. So
nice play,
Johnny. I know that he hasn't led it in soccer yet, but maybe Ira Gerwitz and the soccer crew will maybe look at him because that's not a bad idea, really. If you can't get the quick jump off, take advantage of the quick kick there.
Well, he is their punter. So,
oh yeah, I'm sorry. My apologies.
So he is their punter. So that time they just didn't line him up way deep in punt formation. And so what he did first was try and draw him off. If you can't draw him off, we're going to punt the football. So.
Discussion here on the sideline is one of the coaches is talking to Johnny about perhaps a read on that play. So we'll see if they make a change. But
Davis Barber in the backfield.
Orioles really putting everybody up on the line almost here. Almost the old 46 defense that the Chicago Bears made famous.
Davis Barber breaks one down. He is just nailed.
Wow. Talk about ending it. Achilles Ferris just demolished him. Not only as a wideout offensively, but he squared those shoulders and drove him right into the turf.
Coming back from that cornerback position.
Watch him fight off the block of number 8, I believe that was, for Kennedy that was trying to hold the block, Connor Lynch, and he went right around the Lynch block.
One thing you'll notice where Ferris lines up, he lines up on the right side, and that play was all the way on the left side of the field. So Ferris really came across the field to make that play.
Right. Good for you, Achilles.
Quarterback rolling under some pressure, trying to get to the near sideline. He does. Oh, pulled out a little bit late.
Wow,
could have been a flag.
Might have been a flag, but great arm strength for the Oriole player. Was that 11 or was that 16 Morrison who pulled him down with one hand?
I think it was Morelli, number 11. Let's see.
This is a great misdirection play, and you can see on the pursuit for St. Louis Park that time, Jareli Lopez Barrera was doing it, but it was Morrison showing that great arm strength.
Right.
You can see why he was second on the team in tackles last year. Peyton's a legitimate college prospect being wooed, by a lot of schools, I think, to play football.
Orioles really spread their defense out well that time to cover that sideline. So.
And that was a great play by Kennedy. You've got a right-handed thrower there. You fake to the up man, and then you roll to the weak side, to the short side of the field, Bruce, that time. Similar to what you used to do when you were playing flag football behind Westwood. You'd roll to the short side, you saw the green space, and you went for it.
And I threw to the other third grader down about 3 yards in front of me.
Having a little too much fun up in the booth, is it?
That's been a while.
It's Bruce back for year 38 in the booth, we believe. 39 in the booth, so 39 years here.
41 in the booth if you take KDXL. So we're.
Yep, and next year there's going to be a big party to celebrate Bruce with 40 if we get there. So 39, yeah, we all get there. 39 years up in the booth. What are some of your favorite memories what are some of your favorite games you've ever covered for St. Louis Park? I don't mean to put you on the spot, but think about it, Bruce.
I'll have to think about it.
Give it some thought.
I'll think about it.
I'll never forget that Vanilla Orono game we had years ago where it went back and forth. Remember that?
That was
like the 6-7 scores in the last few minutes. So
and then we have some big Keith Williams with us for a few years. That was fun.
When we had Keith Williams doing color, I always felt like I needed to go to the health club immediately after the game and work out for 4 hours. But B, it was good to have a bodybuilder, with you in the broadcast.
Keith's been doing well. He's on the national bodybuilding circuit. Finished in the top 10.
Did he really? I was going to say that was Montario Southard The throw was a tad high. Bauer closed well from his free safety slot. And there was a good sandwich, as unfortunately for Kennedy, the quarterback, McAfee was sandwiched by, I believe that was Morrison and Morelli for St. Louis Park. Morelli, the sophomore, getting a lot of work, as the Orioles do start 2 10th graders defensively. Again, big night for Minnesota football. You got the Vikings in Miami, the Gophers playing Buffalo. But if you're in St. Louis Park, you should be here.
And the Twins played today too. They won.
One on a hit by pitch.
A walk-off hit by pitch.
See if Bauer fields this one. One
He
hot.
does.
Oh, 2 nice jukes left and right, and he almost,
another one.
Oh, he almost broke a third down, but he fumbles the
though.
ball, though. 75 causes the fumble, it looks like, for Kennedy, and I don't know who recovered it, but 2 nice moves by Mauer, but unfortunately the third one punched it out. He goes right, he goes left.
That was a case where he tried to do too much there. You know, he tried to keep going left, right, and eventually, you know, you're going to hit that pile up there.
And that was a nice play by Isaiah Cotton, the senior for Kennedy, who ended up stripping that. But so Orioles, no rest for the weary, as the defense not getting a break this time. So the Orioles are going to sub out here as one of the Oriole players makes his way.
2 minutes and 3 seconds left to go here in the first quarter.
Yeah, Jacob Brown in. Nice open field tackle that time by Barrera. And Jacob Brown just entered the game. It looked like for St. Louis Park, Karan Adams came off before they started the defensive calls. Yeah, he's maybe having some cramping issues down here in the sidelines. It looks like the trainer's working with it.
Trying to stretch out a little bit.
Nice to get the youngster some work, as Jacob Brown, a sophomore defensive back. So you've got 2 Bauer along with a sophomore back there at the safety slots. Palmer and Dvorak. We haven't called Riley's name a lot tonight, but he got moved from safety to cornerback.
Quick throw, complete. And good coverage by the Orioles as the play goes to about the 49-yard line.
We had mentioned Dvorak, and he helped get in on the coverage that time as the outside linebackers for St. Louis Park. It looked like Riley.
Yeah, Connor Lynch was the receiver on that play, and the ball's at the 48-yard line. So it's going to bring up third down. Call it 7 yards to go.
Trips right to the bottom of the screen here for Kennedy. Only 2 players defending 3 wideouts.
McCaffrey
here.
back to pass under pressure, dumps it off to the short man, the running back, Barber, and he gets to the 46-yard line.
The Orioles only had 1 cornerback in that time, and Kennedy lined up 3 wideouts in the bottom of the screen. So one of the safeties filled for one of the players, but then the third guy was momentarily wide open. But unfortunately, if you're a Kennedy fan, McCaffrey didn't see that right away, and he went on the top side of the screen. We do have a flag on the play.
Yeah, we do have a penalty flag. See if very close to a first down. They'd be about a yard short, and they're looking over to the. Looks like they're looking over to the Orioles sideline. I think the Orioles will take the penalty here if it's. Kennedy would probably go for it here on 4th and 1.
Today is the first day of the high school football season statewide. There's a lot of games tomorrow night. I know Benilde, the defending state champion in Class 4A, opens at home against Waconia tomorrow night on September 1st. We'll get a chance to see John Hanks and Patrick Krieger's team later on in the season.
So a 15-yard penalty, that's a big one. And it's going to bring up a third down. Call it about 17 yards to go. Or 22.
I don't know if you recall the last time I remember Kennedy and St. Louis Park playing. Remember we had that 59-31 playoff game here 3 years ago? That's just insane. 49-31.
It looks like 3rd and 17. I think they have 22 on the board, but 17.
Good call on that, Bruce.
Thanks, John. Quarterback, keeper.
Yeah, obviously Kennedy, both teams relatively conservative play calling. You know, you've got a lot of youth up in the front on the offensive and defensive lines for both teams. both teams with a major step up in competition next week. So this is a really important game to work out a lot of the kinks, try to build some confidence and continuity.
St. Louis Park has Cooper next week, right? And Cooper,
On the road, yeah. And
Cooper has a couple top
Gophers,
conference
right.
players, yep.
And they got a couple of players for the Gophers. They're coached by the former Minnesota Viking as well, so it's going to be a definite upgrade. And then after that, St. Louis Park, 2 weeks from tomorrow, Holy Angels comes calling. Friday night, September 15th. And then St. Louis Park also playing Richfield this year. And then I'm going to be out of town for this, Bruce, but September 28th, mark your calendars, the battle for St. Louis Park. The Red Knight Express comes rolling down Highway 100 a half a mile and plays St. Louis Park. I believe that's a Thursday night because of the holiday, so it's a Thursday night game. But
what day is that one?
I think it's Thursday, September 28th. So I'll probably be watching it from where I'm at, Bruce, live. Hopefully that'll be simulcast.
That'll be after your birthday too, huh?
Hey, thanks for remembering. And when was your birthday, by the way?
It's coming.
Well, it's September 14th? September 22nd?
No, I don't say. 12.
So that's right, you're right before me. We're a couple of Virgos there. You take a look at a handsome collection of, I think that's Kennedy fans. Including, I see a nice Bob Marley shirt on the bottom left there. I like to see that. I like my reggae and Jamaican food. There you take a look at Adams. We mentioned he'd come off the field earlier. The training staff, and there's also a doctor on the field here from Tria that I talked to before the game. Hopefully it's just a cramp or a calf problem.
So the punt, high and short.
Ooh, almost hits.
Yeah, look
That
out.
was dangerous. The punt almost could have hit Riley Dvorak in the back as he was trying to hold a block that time.
Eagles punt is down.
So
That
First
punt,
down, Orioles.
that punt is going to go for 15 yards.
yeah, if you're trying to hold a block for your punt returners and the ball only goes 10, 15 yards, you can't be faulted if it hits you in the back.
No. Great field position for the Orioles. They lead 3-0. We're in the second quarter.
I think second quarter. See, really on the short side of the screen here. Trips right on the bottom of the screen. Talk about no space to defend.
Back to pass, Sorensen throws to the near side, complete. And a nice move staying inbounds is Mitchell.
And the Orioles went, as the Orioles did with Sorensen, what trips right on the bottom of the field, and then one of the receivers ran a slant, and the other one almost ran a pick play to create all this space, Bruce. He had 10 yards between him and any receiver. Yeah.
Yeah, we also saw number 19 for the Orioles. Claire's was wide open too.
Yeah.
Handoff.
Here's Nathan, the sophomore, with some size. Look at him bulldogging his way for a 5-6 yard pickup.
Those are the kind of moves that get you into the starting lineup when
you're a
keep
10th
moving
grader.
your feet. Yeah.
Well, he's got size, you can see from Sajid Natham. It's a pretty good sophomore class from what I understand, and they've got 3 sophomores starting on offense and defense combined.
Mitchell to the far side, Sorensen. Nathan. And trying to get outside. Eludes one tackle, stays on his feet, and gets real close to that first down marker.
The arm tackle didn't work, and then he almost ran through the second tackler. Good speed for the sophomore in size. You see 5 tries to arm tackle him here.
That was Terrell Williams.
And he couldn't do it, and then the second guy, 16, I believe, for Kennedy. For 26, Jalen Moore. No, Isaac Codier. The Frenchman, Codier, the Frenchman made the tackle. Cotier, might have been a Frenchman, I don't know.
Courtier.
So nice to see for that sophomore getting a lot of, and in that one-back system, he's going to get a heavy dose. Trips bottom of the screen again.
Back to pass, Sorensen. He's got time to throw, throws, and it's complete.
Oh, nice.
Again to Mitchell.
Boy, did Mitchell make a nice.
Right, Lovelace did a good job holding on to him. Otherwise, Mitchell may have been gone.
A lot of spaces. Lovelace really playing off him. Sorensen delivers us with some gusto. And look at the nice tight in move, the in and up move, and Lovelace just gets a hand on him. Otherwise, it could have been pay dirt for the Oriole Nation.
Brings up second and short.
Orioles looking for their first touchdown of the 2017 season here. Nathan has the ball in his left hand, and he's pulled down by Ortiz.
Oh, look at the contact on the end of the play that time. That was
Number
Ryan
7,
Claire's.
Nathan on the
He
carry.
pushed. Ryan Claire's
Brought down
playing
by
it from his
number
tight end
23
spot, 19.
Ortiz.
Pushed the defensive end for
And that
Kennedy
carries it
7
up for
yards down the
Orioles.
field and blew him out of bounds.
Touchdown!
And then he got his head slapped, his helmet knocked right off him. I guess that's what happens when the guy gets so frustrated.
Downfield blocking. Well, first down for the St. Louis Park Orioles now is the ball at the 22-yard line.
Take a look here. The Orioles. I like how they rotate. Sometimes they're going to run the no huddle, and other times we take a break. Make sure we know what we're doing. You've got a senior quarterback who's also, played a lot of wideouts, so he understands all the different roles on the team.
Play action, passes at the middle, complete. Ferris is pulling the defenders, and he gets inside the 10 down to the 6.
We talked about the elusiveness earlier, but Achille Ferris shows another nice set of moves as he breaks 2 tackles after the catch. Sorensen had 3 options to throw to, and he delivered a strike with gusto on it. You can see the strong arm Johnny Sorensen has.
Yeah, he avoided Courtier, and then was finally brought down by McDonald.
Great. Like we said, Johnny can deliver the heater up to 85, and he can really whip that football as well at times, and you need that out of a quarterback. And then when you combine his athleticism, Orioles have been blessed even with Romero the last 3 years. They've had very elusive, strong-arm quarterbacks.
Barrera's in the game on the left side, and the throw is complete. Mitchell, touchdown.
Touchdown, Samaj Mitchell, number 11, gets the first score of the season. The Orioles did a nice job holding blocks that time. You see Tony Christensen did a nice job making initial contact with his man. Samaj going to feel happy this Thursday night going into Labor Day weekend.
Orioles touchdown!
Oriole Nation on their feet here. The Orange and Black Express is the other nickname I've heard for St. Louis Park.
So now Palmer with the extra point. High snap. And the kick is up, and it is good.
Nice job by Sorensen holding that time. There, take a look at Johnny run. Look at how excited he is. Running off. Nice work with the camera crew. As you can see the emotion Sorensen runs off the field with.
One thing I should mention, the Orioles have a field goal and an extra point in this game. They had struggled just to even make extra points over the last 2 years, and I would tell you that they weren't even, I don't think they were even 50%. At greatest, and here so far they've got field goal and an extra point, and more importantly a touchdown. They're up 10-0 here.
I'm a big believer. You go to the soccer coach every year in June. You go to the soccer coach and you talk to him about if there's any guys on your team that are excellent that could practice this, and just come to my games. If you've got a guy who can chip it from 40, 50 yards, especially if you have trouble scoring another way, a lot of those soccer guys can easily convert over to the pigskin.
This year, can't remember the player's name, but Armstrong has the best kicker in the state right now.
Do they? Robbinsdale Armstrong?
Yeah.
Well, good. Well, maybe we'll get a chance to see him. There you take a look at the beautiful concessions building that just opened, was it 2 years ago or last year? I forget.
Last year.
But, they have a special this year, the Hoberman hot dog package. I understand you get a hot dog, chips, and a soda for under $9, I believe. And does that come with an autographed
If it's a Hoberman hot dog special, it's probably got 3 hot dogs, 2 bags of chips.
All for under $10. With a portion going to the Jordan Hoberman Scholarship Fund, perhaps.
High kick. Barber takes it along. That was a great kick. Takes it along the 5 to the 20, 25, and it's pulled down at the 26.
Don't you love the fact, too, that his name is Terrell Davis Barber? And, of course, what number is Terrell Davis Barber wearing? But 28, just like Terrell Davis.
Brought down by number 6.
He hasn't. That hadn't had any impact in his parents' life, right?
I was very impressed with that kickoff. That went way down.
Yeah, we'll have to find out what the background. I wonder if do we know if Skylar Redulius Palmer also plays soccer here at St. Louis Park? We don't believe he does. Yep. Well, yeah, at least not. Getting some track information from Howard Luloff.
There's a pitch.
Oh,
Barber cuts back. He's got some speed.
Boy, does
and
he ever.
He's going to be brought down by the Orioles. That time number 21 for the St. Louis Park Orioles. That's Palmer.
Yeah, and he really showed some moves. I wonder if you're wearing number 28, carrying a name like Terrell Davis She goes nice. Keeps that ball tucked in tight in traffic. Good job by Kennedy holding all their blocks up front. I noticed Valiant Taylor, the left guard, with the sophomore, with a nice job on the block too.
There's Rodelius Palmer, and he was saw him on the kickoff team.
Right.
He's a kicker, and now he's
also playing safety back there, offering some support.
that's Palmer again, or Barber again.
He's in the game because of the injuries. And
Davis Barber fumbled the ball, and the Orioles have recovered as it's fumbled on the 35-yard line as he went down.
I think Lopez Barrera recovers. We'll take a look at the video here. Oh, is that? And I believe though that was Morrison that made the initial contact.
I think Morelli was.
Or Morelli. It might have been 11 or 16. I see 16.
Yeah, 11 back here.
Well, let's give credit to Morelli since.
Yeah, the recovery was Barrera. We were just looking at who made. Well, we can maybe look at that again in just a second.
Yeah. Orioles only start 4.
Yeah.
Yeah. Trips right on the bottom of the screen. Some late substitution. Lovelace, bottom of the screen defending.
There's a play action, long throw over the middle.
Oh.
Mitchell had a step. He was guarded that time by number 24, Lovelace. Here's a
Number 17,
Lovelace, I thought momentarily got a hand on him. Sorensen delivered it. If he would have just had a tad more height underneath that, he could have run under it just a tad, but nice throw, regardless. And good job by the line holding the box. Here's the replay. Oh, nice job. It was, you were right, Bruce. Those Hawkeye Oriole eyes of yours did see that was Morelli who punched it out.
So it's going to be with 8:20 to go. Orioles with the ball on the 35-yard line, second down. Nathan is going to have to work through this linebacker. That was a great tackle by Courtier. Yeah.
Courtier, the Frenchman.
Number 16 for the Eagles.
Good to have the sophomore getting some work. We mentioned both teams now with big roster sizes. You talked about St. Louis Park 1-7 regular season, 2-8 last year overall. He kind of almost jumped into him, which I like the fact as a sophomore he was willing to instigate the contact.
Well, it was great pursuit by the Eagle linebackers that time. He had, the linebacker corps has been pretty solid here. Moore, Showstrand, Williams, and Ortiz.
Right.
For Kennedy, and we're going to have a timeout by the St. Louis Park Orioles here.
I like this timeout too. You got 3rd and 9. Sure, you're up 10-0, 7:40 to go in the second quarter. But for the Oriole coaching staff, let's all get on the same page. As new coach PJ Fleck says, let's make sure we're rowing the boat in the right direction. 3rd and 9. Row the boat in the right direction.
Johnny's.
Nobody else is getting these lines but you, Bruce. But that's okay.
Well, you can't hear the audience laughing from here, Johnny.
No,
some have turned it off by now, but the other ones are.
Yeah, you can always turn the sound down, fans. And remember that we're not getting paid a lot to be up here. So if you don't like what you're hearing, you might need to volunteer yourself.
Yeah, the pay goes down every year. Starts at 0, now we're paying. I think what are we paying to do this?
I only paid $6 to get it in tonight. That's all they charged me. We're joking, of course.
St. Louis Park Orioles schedule this year starts Bloomington Kennedy tonight. They play at Robbinsdale Cooper.
So you take a look at some trees as Bruce
Friday
goes over the
8th.
schedules.
Academy of Holy Angels on the 15th. At Richfield on the 22nd.
So 3rd and 9. We'll see what the Orioles pull out of the bag of tricks here. Ooh, a little fake shovel pass.
Sorensen complete. Mitchell, and he was hit hard that time by Brandon Showstrand at the 30-yard line. It's going to bring up a 4th down for the Orioles.
I like the fake to the up man, and even though it was only a 4-yard gain, still you made it more of a reasonable 4th and 5, 4th and 6 here.
Yeah, and again, good pressure put on by Kennedy Eagles, forcing the throw a little bit earlier by Sorensen. Sorensen back in punt formation as he scopes out the field. Now he's going to throw the ball complete to the far side. That's Clares, and Clares goes down at the 29-yard line. Great play that time by number 27, McDonald.
Yeah, it was one-on-one coverage out there, and you're basically saying, Claresy, my senior, let's see if you can beat him in space. He gives him the stiff arm, which I love, but you got to love how, indeed, McDonald just rides him to the ground, the junior.
Again, Clares has some good height. You'd like to almost see him be challenged with a high throw to Clares at some point, but that time they were hoping Clares could beat the player one-on-one, like you said, Jen.
And Ryan, just like his older brother Connor, who was an exceptional multi-sport athlete, Connor's still playing hockey after high school from St. Louis Park, the former All-State goalie. That's that Clares family.
McGaffey. Back to pass, under pressure.
Boy,
And to throw it away. That was, again, good pressure by Jacob Riley that time. The outside linebacker.
The senior, I don't know if we can see this, but Riley beat his man clean, and then he hangs on with those strong hands of his. He gets that right arm right around the waist and keeps hanging on, trying to hog tie him down to the ground.
Well, this Oriole defense so far has done a really good job putting the pressure on McGaffey. He hasn't had a lot of time to throw.
We should mention, too, on that sequence that Ryan Clares, who plays a lot of two-way 19 in the body team, also beat his man clean, almost with like a head slap type move, and beat him clean, but nice job by Clares.
Second down, 10. McGaffey, he rolls to the near side, and he throws, and it's tipped and incomplete.
Nice job on the read on that play by Adam Bauer. Even if that would have been caught, Bauer would have dislodged that catch, I think, immediately. Watch this.
Good time to throw at that time. Oh, it was tipped by his own player.
Oh, yeah, it was. I didn't even notice that. Yeah, you had two receivers within a few feet of each other, and unfortunately, if you're a Kennedy fan, Connor Lynch was probably the main target of that. But see if we can get any, maybe at halftime, we can get any update on what's going on with Karan Adams, who still hasn't come back in the game for St. Louis Park. We mentioned that
88 John Olson on the near side, thrown over the middle, it's complete.
There's Lynch again. He was wide open. Bauer had to come up from his free safety spot to make the tackle.
Number 3, McGaffey's pass is complete to number 8, Lynch.
So Connor Lynch with a nice catch as he cut across the middle.
And unfortunately for Lopez Barrera, the tight end, he was just a little too much speed went right by him that time, and he didn't react well to the speed of the man coming out of the backfield. There you take a look at the big nose guard for St. Louis Park, John Demisek, the sophomore at 5'10", 260, playing nose as a sophomore.
Well, they're going to keep putting the ball in the air.
Ooh.
And looks like it hit the ground, so it's incomplete at the 40-yard line. One thing I was going to tell you, John, and I just got to find my little stat here, but I can tell you last year, passing-wise.
Oh, yes, you've got the Kennedy numbers.
I do. And their quarterback was Charles Cameron. He was 71 of 179, 40% completion percentage, 4 touchdowns and 14 interceptions. So the touchdown to interception ratio is not something that they definitely want to correct this year.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Well, McCarthy's done a pretty decent job. Ooh, I thought that was a fake to Davis,
it's a handoff
but it was
to
a nice
Barber.
job.
And a great tackle by Morelli.
It was, and it was a nice job by McCarthy, even selling that as a play-action play there. I thought it was play-action all the way because he sold it well.
Watch the great job Morelli does. He's strong. Just gets that arm around him, and Morelli just drove him down.
Yeah.
And Barrera coming in, too. So
Right. Orioles with some other players, too. We haven't really called a lot of DeDefo. He plays defensive tackle and offensive guard, but DeDefo, bottom of your screen, 43. He's got some size and strength with those hands of his as well.
back to pass McGaffey. Looks complete again.
Connor Lynch did a nice job sitting down on the route. If he would have went full speed the last second, he would have run right into double coverage, but he sat in open space there and read the defense well. The ball was delivered well. See how he's just standing there, ladies and gentlemen? He was running full speed, but the safeties in the corner didn't close on him. They gave him 5 yards, and he and the quarterback got on the same page, and he looked back, and the ball was delivered perfectly. So for the Kennedy Eagles, a nice drive down the field by McCarthy. He's hit Lynch quite a bit, and they've used, obviously, Terrell Davis Barber, as we've talked about a lot.
Quick throw again to Lynch. And he's going to be taken down. Nice play, Riley.
Number 3, McGaffey's pass is complete to number 8, Lynch. Brought down by number 20, Dvorak for the Orioles.
So Riley down there on part of the tackle.
Yeah, Riley.
Yep.
No gain on the play.
Riley
Brings
just
up
a
second
really
down
great
and 10.
season in the baseball. We were talking about Johnny being a three-sport athlete. Riley, an exceptional baseball player, shortstop, and also a great defenseman, an all-conference defenseman for the Orioles. So definitely some three-sport athletes out here. That's one great thing about St. Louis Park. You can do them all.
John, there were two Rileys on that play. It was Riley Dvorak, too, on the tackle.
So it was a Riley squared play. There's a nice tackle, too. 22 again, and we've talked about Lopez Barrera.
Number 3,
So.
McGaffney on the quarterback
Lopez
keeper.
Barrera just really impresses me from year to year.
Brought down by number
He had just
22,
such a
Lopez
phenomenal year last year, and there you see how he gets in that backfield so quickly.
Athletic director Andy Ewald walking up, opening his wallet. Not sure if there's anything coming our way on this, but I know he's got a son out there as a sophomore too, hoping to get some time as the season goes on. McCarthy again from the gun.
Yeah, Ortiz on the far side, along with Southard.
Nice fake.
Looks to the near side, rolls, throws, and that could be a penalty on the Orioles. It will be.
It's a tough read because to me it almost looked like it was a partial push for the Kennedy player, but I think Dvorak's going to get. Is it Dvorak? Or, no, I apologize. It's 21. The
3,
kickers,
McGaffey's
Cornelius
pass,
Palmer,
falls
going to get
incomplete.
whistled that
Flag on
time.
the play.
Back up, third string safety here. Yeah, I think we're going to get it.
He almost fell. Yeah, it wasn't a lot of contact, and he did go down,
Pass
but
interference on the Orioles.
Bruce, I don't know if we can slow that, or Paul, can you slow that down one more time when we get right in here? Thank you. You can see how far away the official is, but he's got the laundry ready to heave, and he just chucks it right away. So can't go to the video replay. We aren't at a Major League Baseball game, are we?
you know, if they run out of flags, we got your shirt here that's pretty bright. Never miss that one on the field.
Oh, nice cut by Davis. Even to get 2 yards there, he could have been steamrolled in the
28, Davis
backfield.
Garber on the carry. Brought down by number
You know, I remember
22,
when I was in high
Lopez
school,
Barrera.
Kennedy made the state tournament in
And
'82 with
43,
Willis Jaycox. I don't know if you remember that name, Bruce, but you called his game here. And Willis Jaycox was the first team All-State running back
Brings
for
up
Kennedy.
second down.
And they made it into the state finals in the Prep Bowl and lost that year. And he was injured in that game and couldn't play the last 2 quarters. He went out to him. He was unbelievable at Bloomington Kennedy.
Right.
Maybe you remember that name. I know, reaching back into that Hoberman vault.
We have to mention that John has a photographic memory, and mine is pretty much gone. So there's a quarterback keeper McGaffey, and he's brought down.
Yeah, that was really a coverage sack. Nice job by the
Number
safeties
3,
and
McGaffey
corners, and you had
is
gang
sacked
tackling. Here's
by number
Morelli
20,
again.
Dvorak.
Yeah.
Loss on the play brings up 3rd and long.
It was a nice job by Davis holding his block on Morelli, or no, not on Morelli.
Oh, that was number
Oh,
20.
no, that was Riley Dvorak
Yeah,
on the
Dvorak.
tackle. Yeah. Dvorak with those massive arms. I mean, you can take a look. He's on the left side of your screen, 20 there. Nice camera shot on Riley. There you take a look. Down to 2:25 remaining in the second quarter. Kennedy's still marching. They've had a lot. They've been wearing the Orioles defense down after the turnover.
Back to pass, thrown towards the corner, and it's complete.
I think it's a double win for Kennedy. They're going to
Touchdown.
get the touchdown, and I think it would have been a penalty on Dvorak for interference. Otherwise, Riley timed his jump just a tad
Number
off.
3, McGaffey's pass
Maybe
is complete to number 23,
Ortiz.
Ortiz, for an Eagles touchdown. Flag on the play.
Yeah, so Ortiz got them both.
Oh, wait, it's not. It's on penalty is.
Oh, it's a line penalty. I thought they were calling. Okay, the flag came back from the far back judge, so I thought it was.
So the touchdown's going to be waved off.
Boy, that a huge momentum builder.
Look at that! What a great throw.
And an athletic Lucas
There was
Dvorak's
sort of
really
the back-
all over
right.
him, and he still gets the 1 foot down. Great camera work. That video montage should get sent into
That,
NBC.
hold on. Oh, I see chalk.
Look at that. Oh, look at
There's
Riley.
chalk.
Riley,
There's
look
chalk
at your
there, too.
athleticism. You got like a 30-inch
Hold on,
vertical.
his foot's on the chalk. You see the
yeah,
chalk?
oh, there
throw?
you go. There was as much chalk flying as at a cocaine bust on a Pablo Escobar's.
Be careful what we say these days.
We are public access. We don't think we've done anything wrong. So.
What a big play, for Kennedy, who really struggled last year to score touchdowns, and that one nullified, and now it'll be 3rd down. Back to pass again, throwing.
Oh, great
almost-
read on the
It is
interception.
intercepted.
What a great read defensively on the interception that time by Ferris, as he had first 6 steps he had coverage and he turned just at the right moment. Look at that, Ferris squares himself up inside coverage. Nice job as the defender was trying to, or the receiver was trying to act as a defender and knock it out of there. But boy, what a big play. You lose the touchdown? It was a wrap-up city job, Paul Broden. He really wrapped him up and packaged him.
And again, Ferris, wide receiver on the team too, so he's got great hands and did a great job pulling that one.
And I remember Achille from last year, and take a look, the defense gathered. Boy, they need a little rest here on the sideline. They've been out on the field quite a while, but.
Right, with 2:07 to go here in the half, we'll see if the Orioles try and play it safe, deep in their own territory. Natham in the backfield. Back to pass, they throw, and it's complete.
Nice catch by the man.
That was him again.
Yeah. God, he not only intercepts the pass, but then he jumps about 20 inches in the air to make a great catch.
Well, the Orioles move the ball now. They get it out to the 29-yard line. They got some
room. Look at that. That is a great catch. It's over his head and behind him. Bruce. He's literally catching it with shoulder pads on. That's not easy.
What we should say a lot is this play action.
Yep, play action.
Here's a quarterback keeper.
And a nice 7-8 yard gain.
On the quarterback keeper.
I tell you, it's a fun team to watch offensively because with Sorensen's athleticism, with those Michael Vick type skills, and then the sophomore, and then you've got guys with good athleticism at the wideout slots.
And they're not huddling.
The no huddle makes it fun. And Paul Broden mentioned the 99 Rams, and that brings back memories. Nice slant pattern here.
Mitchell, and he has a first down. And look at him.
Boy, it's a battle.
That's everyone just pushing their way, and he gets down to the 45.
And Mitchell and Lovelace have been battling all half, and Lovelace was trying to tear that ball out of there completely. He was mad about that catch, 24. He's just yanking on that and yanking on it.
Orioles in a 2-minute drill, 1:17 to go. Clock starts. Back to pass. This is lobbed up for Mitchell.
We got a Lovelace on the push. It's going to be an auto first down. Lovelace has got those hands in the air like, why me? But you know what? There's no doubt about that. There was enough laundry being flown to start a whole new load of laundry. It's an easy one to call that time. And, really almost an impossible ball to catch. So if you're a Kennedy fan, you're pretty bummed about that. Plus, it gives the Orioles basically a free timeout, as the Orioles still have 2 timeouts and a minute 6. You can see Lovelace with a definite push off on the left hand that knocks him out of bounds. Wasn't a bad throw. It would have been a miraculous catch. To 1st and 10 at the 40. Still over a minute to go.
Kai McKee lines up on the far sideline.
I remember Kai from last year.
There's Barrera. Look at the speed he's got.
He's
gone.
Gets
to the outside.
He is. He's going to work it all the way for the
tackle.
Barrera, and they took him from that wideout slot, put him in motion, and 40 yards later, you got another touchdown. They utilized his speed. Watch this on the handoff, on the up handoff. Goes right around the tackle. They're saying he went out of bounds, but one broken tackle there.
Let's see, Jose Lopez Barrera.
Correction. He was out of bounds.
Let's see.
His right foot went out of bounds there. So, still first down at the 12-yard line. Kennedy going to take the timeout. So Orioles going to get a little break here. You get a 27-yard gain on the beautiful
run. What a great play! Yeah, good call.
Paulie, let's watch that again because you don't often see the wide receiver lined up in the slot formation, and then you move him right at the snap. Quick up handoff. Then he stiff arms the end here. He stiff armed the end to create that space. You can see what an athlete he is. And another stiff arm to 22 stiff arms.
That's really similar.
And a broken tackle here. That's his player of the day.
John, that's really similar to a play that Benilde runs where they do that, where they push the ball inside, and you think they just shovel it.
Inside handoff.
Yeah.
Right. Well, and when you
Look
have that kind
close.
of...
I don't know. No.
We need the video review.
He is not out of bounds.
I think, Bruce, why don't you wave the flag to the officials and we can get him to come to the video replay.
He is not out of bounds at that point. His foot is inside the line, still inside. That is a touchdown.
And, that's an amazing run. 2 stiff arms. And the first stiff arm, he would have been tackled for 2 yards behind the line of scrimmage. So,
all right, see if the Orioles can pound it in. Nathan.
Nathan being
And
put,
again,
look at the
push.
scrum. And look at one of the Orioles
Number
players just
7,
being
Nathan on the
thrown
carry.
backwards. Yeah, so a nice gain. Keeps the clock moving. Orioles still have 2 timeouts and 40 seconds. Sorensen taking his time here as we're going to be under 30 seconds from the time this is hiked.
Second down, 9 yards to go for the Orioles.
Still get a first down at the 4.
Sorensen rolls to the side, throws, and look, it was intended that time for McKee.
Well, this will be interesting. You got 3rd and 9 here, and obviously you mentioned earlier, the Orioles have shown they've got an excellent field goal kicker. But, you know, do you want to try to put the dagger in the heart here and get the touchdown? Because you still have the 2 timeouts. You can get a first down at the 4-yard line, so you don't definitively have to throw it in the end zone. So it'll be interesting what
Ferris coming in.
Orioles choose to do offensively here.
Mitchell and Ferris have played a big part so far in this first half.
I'd really like to see the Orioles roll Johnny out here, possibly on the bottom of the screen here on the short, more on the short side. You've got Claire's lined up in the tight end slot to help with run support and blocking.
Here's Sorensen,
Oh.
throws over the middle, complete. Ferris pulling his way, and he's in the end zone for a touchdown.
Wow, and he
That
went
was
right.
great effort by Ferris.
Boy, talk about on the 3rd and 9 converting the touchdown. And you know, watch the replay here. Fake to the up man, boom, and then quick hitter, receiver crossing route, no one home. Only the safety to try to happen. He rides him into the end zone. He won't be denied.
And that was a good tackler too, number 16.
Yeah,
you know,
Cody
Courtier.
Yeah, he's
Courtier.
one of their captains, quarterback and cornerback. So, wow, nice.
So 14-yard reception.
Another nice snap and a kick. Orioles really have themselves a kicker here. We had that young man from Manil years ago, and there you can see how excited the Orioles are opening day. And what a sequence, Bruce, to go from a 10-0 lead, and we think it's going to be a touchdown for Kennedy. It's called back, and then the Orioles go 85 yards and get their own score. Fake to the up man, cross, nobody home. Linebackers have all been cleared out, and Cody just can't bring them in. Too much strength, and for Kennedy, just exactly the nightmare scenario that they didn't want driving up Highway 100. 17-0, only 12 seconds to go in the half. And, you know, Orioles, I talked to a friend of mine. We did the Park Center game last year. I don't know if you remember this. We did the win, and then last game of the season they lost, and then they creamed Southwest. And then the last playoff game was against Spring Lake Park, and even though we lost the game 35-16, it was only 15-8 at the half against a team that would be state finalists. And now granted he lost, but look at the camaraderie on the sideline, Paul. I don't know if you can get a shot of what's going on the sideline before the kickoff.
Yeah,
anyway, the Orioles are swaying back and forth. You should see this on the sidelines, folks. Look at that.
Coaches,
yeah, they're going crazy down there, so that's good to see.
You almost think that's the Wisconsin.
Yeah.
That was short kick.
It was
Orioles trying to fall on it to the.
Boy, they're really battling.
I think it's recovered by Kennedy with 12 seconds to go.
A little pooch kick, and it hit the up man, so it was a live ball here. Well, it would have been live anyway, but
right.
And then he didn't get it.
He fumbled
cleanly.
it. You
Oh,
see
and
it?
look at that ball is loose.
It was loose.
Yeah, that would have been quite. So I have a feeling Kennedy's just going to sit on it here. Orioles obviously really excited, and great camera work to get the guys on the sideline just going back and forth, swaying and cheering, and people
That's
don't
fun.
realize, you know. And as we're going to head timeout St. Louis Park, what I was going to say is what people don't realize is you might look at a schedule and a result from last year and say, okay, the team was 2-8. But you got to break down what happened. And then I had a phone conversation, I don't know what it was, yesterday, maybe for 5 minutes with somebody I know who mentioned to me, you know, because I wasn't at the Southwest game where we won 49-0, and I wasn't at the playoff game against Spring Lake Park. But to know that you have, you know, section playoff game against a team that goes to be state finalists, losing in the Prep Bowl at Spring Lake Park, that at least you're halfway through the game, you're only down by a touchdown. And you've got a good core of 8 or 10 guys back that were all on that team that played a ton. You mentioned Sorensen and Dvorak. We talked about Christensen and all the other guys. And you know, and it's only a few years ago. Park was 4-4 with Stafford when we had Trenton Stafford a few years ago. So, you know, hopefully there's some hope, and you hope that the young kids watching these games aspire to not only be on TV, but to wear the orange and black and follow in the footsteps of a Bobby Stein, a former National Football League player who played at this high school. You know, there are some
Scott
successors.
Eckers and some of the.
Yeah, Fletcher Terrell, and right.
So this will be Barber.
Barber going to pad those stats and get 12 off the far side, but that's going to, well, I thought he got a first down, but
They said he didn't get it.
I thought he got,
Well,
whatever. I thought they should have stopped the clock.
well,
there.
I don't think it's
the end of the half because he got a first down.
He got a first down,
they
it
have
should
to
have stopped.
And even if he didn't get out of bounds, they've got to put it back to 3-4 seconds, I would think. So Orioles going to have to stay for another
4
play
seconds.
here.
4 seconds.
4 seconds. Okay, we're going to reset the clock. It'll just take a second here. Maybe Kennedy will air it up and try to get a penalty. Orioles got their safeties back to the 30-yard line. So
And they'll do the same play.
there's
Barber.
nice for Barber. He gained 22 yards the last 2 plays to pad those stats.
Right.
I don't know if he's up for a contract renewal at the end of the year, but it's nice to pad the numbers.
Well, great first half for the St. Louis Park Orioles as they started off the scoring in the first with a 25-yard field goal by Palmer that gave the Orioles a 3-0 lead. Mitchell with a 6-yard reception on a pass from Sorensen, and the extra point was good, 10-0 for the St. Louis Park Orioles. And then Ferris with a 14-yard reception again from Sorensen. The extra point was good, and the Orioles lead 17-0.
And Bruce, before we talk a little bit more about the game and go to break, I just wanted to mention this is the first St. Louis Park sporting event I think you've covered this fall, Paul. Just a quick moment of silence for the broadcast crew here. We lost a St. Louis Park icon this summer, somebody that Bruce and I have known for 40 years practically. 1968 graduate Greg Clevin passed away. Greg was an all-conference guard for St. Louis Park, played college baseball at Concordia, and was the sports editor of the St. Louis Park Sun and Sailor papers for over 40 years. Greg passed away at the age of 66 in June. On a personal note, I got to know Greg really well the last 5 years, and I spent a lot of time with him. Greg Clevin, I'll try to get a graphic for one of the other games, and maybe we can show an image of him, but I know he was somebody that you read a lot of his writings over the years when we were growing up and in high school and college, and so I just wanted to add that. So,
John, stats here. We have Nathan carrying the ball 8 times for 15 yards. Sledge, 2 carries for 2 yards. Sorensen, 5 for 8. Sorensen, 130 yards passing in the game.
Yeah, 100, how many completions for that 130 yards for Johnny?
See if you can figure that one out.
Yeah, and we want to thank the crew here from Max Preps that's doing the stats today. Allenson, 130 yards on one.
Oh, you know, actually, he's got 159. They just went into the next.
Yeah, 159 yards.
He's thrown the ball
for one half.
15 times.
15 times. And, you know, the last 2 games of the season.
These may be the incompletions right here. So,
you know, the Orioles last year graduated Mike Cal Howard, and they also had, I know, Zolly Kaplan and, you know, also graduated who played a ton. And we mentioned Logan Romero who graduated. But I think a really good first half. I don't know if you need to. Go ahead, Bruce.
John, I don't know if this is right, but it looks like he's 12 for 15 throwing the ball. So
12 for 15 for 159 yards in one half. Wow, and a couple of scores.
And Mitchell with
how many catches?
6 catches, 58 yards.
Mitchell 6 catches, 58, and then
Ferris,
how many for Ferris?
4 for 97.
So that's just wow, 4 for 97. That's a season for some guys. 97 yards of receiving.
Lopez Barea, 26.
So Ferris and Mitchell, a recipient of the Sorensen gifts and the quick delivery of Johnny. We're going to step away, I think, momentarily here. Do you have anything else you want to add before we go to break? Make sure you stick with us for the second half, though.
I think that's all I have since We're missing Lopez Berea had the run, so they must have put that in the receiving column. But we're good. I think we're live tonight, so I think we're probably staying up here.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Oh. Well, let's talk about some other cool things going on in St. Louis Park for sports then.
Go ahead, John.
Paul and I talked about this briefly before the game, but if you're watching live tonight or even on the replay and you're a St. Louis Park baseball fan, of course I am, St. Louis Park in June, Wayzata High School went to the state baseball tournament again. And St. Louis Park, as we called on May 4th, I believe, St. Louis Park defeated Wayzata, who would go on to win this section. And then this summer, Wayzata won the state Legion, was state runners-up for the state Legion championship. They, I believe, went like 40-4 or 40-5 in the season. And the St. Louis Park Legion baseball team beat them twice, once in the regular season and once in the playoffs. Wayzata is the largest school in the state, and St. Louis Park went 3-0 against them this year. Really a great senior pipeline next spring for Oriole baseball, and I know the Little League program doing well. And then Paul and I almost got together to do a men's Class A baseball game. The St. Louis Park Pirates that play down at Keller Field were the #1 team in Minnesota for the entire season. They beat the Minnetonka Millers twice in the regular season and ended up losing in the state finals. A lot of former Park graduates like Matt Paulson and Chris Duda, 3 or 4 guys that made it up to AA and AAA play for the St. Louis Park Pirates. So if you've never been down to Keller in the summer, it's free entertainment. And besides the Legion, the Pirates are just phenomenal baseball to watch. And free is good, free is good. And then we had dinner tonight with Ira Gerwitz, and Ira was talking about the start of the soccer season this year and mentioned that, I think he said Benji Kent, the women's soccer coach at Park, they've won 2 games already this year. And then he said the boys were still trying to, Chado Alvarado's team was still trying to get a win, but good pipeline always with soccer. So.
Right. So anyways, we're at halftime here from St. Louis Park. We hope you come out and support the St. Louis Park Orioles this season. It's always fun to come back to if you graduated here, or if you're a parent, or just even in the St. Louis Park community. St. Louis Park Orioles can use your support, and love to have you out here. John, we're going to take a break. 17-0 our score. We're at halftime here from St. Louis Park High School.
Introducing a breakthrough in time management technology. A whole new day of the week. It's called Someday. Ingenious. Perhaps someday you are going to go skydiving. Enter a hot dog eating contest. Maybe ride a mechanical bull. Now it's on the calendar. You may want to retire someday. Ready for that? You'll really want this. A My Social Security account at socialsecurity.gov. You can estimate your future benefits, plan for your retirement, and how to save for it. If you already receive benefits, you can manage them online. Millions of people already have a My Social Security account. In fact, someone opens one about every 6 seconds. Get yours today, because someday is here at socialsecurity.gov.
Bruce over along with John Fromm. We get ready to start the second half, and Kennedy will kick off to start the second half here.
And what a great half if you're Oriole fans. Bruce, you referenced all the Sorensen magic in terms of working with his receiving core. What do you have, 159 yards on 12 out of 15 passing?
Correct.
There you take a look at.
Checked the status of the injury to Karan, and I think it's a hip, and nothing too serious, but I think they were just being careful with it. That was sort of like what happened in the start of the game.
Right,
where,
a little pooch kickoff and nobody steps up to get it. Was that Clairsy that got down on that? Or yeah, it was Clairs. Clairs ended up falling on it, and thank goodness for that.
Down by number 19, Clairs. First down, Orioles.
They're right in front of number 16, Courtier.
You know, how many years do you think, honestly, Clint Ewald has been an assistant and head football coach? Do we have any idea? He used to coach at Golden Valley High School. That closed in 1980. You know,
Flip Saunders coached there, too.
Yeah, Golden Valley Lutheran College. I was like, but now Clint's got his grandson. I think that's Andy's kid who's listed on the roster, Ewald. So I guess we'll have him for 3 more years at least. Andy ever.
Sorensen, Nathan.
Wow, exactly, right.
Is taken down at about the 28-yard line.
Number 7, Nathan on the carry for the Orioles. Brought down by number 88.
The Orioles have such a fun offense because they have so much athleticism with their skill position players. And granted, they're going to run into a lot of games where they're really overmatched offensively on the line, the different sizes and whatnot. But by being able to roll out Sorensen, moving him left, right, and horizontally, and then spreading the field so much, you know, that's the whole key.
If the Orioles can do anything to try and work on this half to get that running game going a little bit. Here's a pass, and it's complete.
Claire's wide open out of the tight end H-back slot, kind of.
It was clotheslined over on the back. Looks like by number 5, Williams.
We just had a flash of beauty, Bruce. We'll have to show it to you. Clairsy had. I was looking at the stats going into the game, and if I remember right, Ryan he's 6'2", 205, and he had 14 balls last year as a junior. So
another pass. This is Claire's, comes to the near side.
Nice stiff arm there. It takes 2 guys to ride Clairsy out.
Not going to go down though.
What a difference in offense for the last 3 years with Romero and Michael Howard, a power back. Now you got a youngster in the backfield, but you got a senior quarterback who's athletic. So a de-emphasis of the running game, obviously, to utilize the skills of what you have receiving core-wise.
Well, I think
changing coaching philosophy, you need to adapt to your personnel.
Agreed, and I think you have a quarterback that can throw on the run too, and Sorensen is able to get outside the pocket a little bit. So
right, and that's a big part of coaching too, to adapt to the unique skills you might have. There's one wide open. Pass. Oh, he only had maybe a half a step on him. Because it was great coverage by
Courtier again.
Courtier, you can if you're a Kennedy coach, it's good to have Courtier from his free safety slot to be able to.
John, and that was Ferris, and just off of maybe touched the top of his fingertip, but.
Yeah, Achille Ferris, and wasn't there an NFL quarterback, Achille Smith?
Achille Smith.
Yeah,
Cincinnati.
Cincinnati, that's right. Howard Luloff chiming in and confirming that. He's our reticent statistician expert up in the booth. There's a nice
keeper, Sorensen.
Tried to stiff arm.
What a great tackle that time.
Yeah, 45 for the Eagles that time. Sjostrand, the senior, with some strength. And looks like he could be banged up a little bit. Johnny, as he was last year a lot, he'll get tackled hard, and he's kind of slight. I mean that not as a derogatory thing. He's just so athletic, playing 3 sports and running and playing hockey.
And now he's going to have to punt the football, too.
Now he's going to punt it. He hasn't done enough. He's got to punt off a bad foot. Low snap.
Low punt, but this one's over the head.
You know what I find fascinating, you guys? Oh, 1 yard line. Did he get that? Oh, he did. He saved it at the 1 foot line. Who was that? Is that
number 15, McKee?
We have got to watch Kai McKee, the senior. Watch this.
And the referee was right there watching. Watch the referee there.
3 yard line, 2. Now if any part of his foot is in the end zone. Mistake.
He was,
but the refs didn't notice it. Wow. I don't know if any money has exchanged hands. The officials missed one that time. Well, that's a great effort, though, to grade it. And he is rewarded for the intensity of his pursuit of the ball by the play maybe being overlooked by the officials. So, right, he was right on.
Yeah, the official was there.
He just he was wearing trifocals, unfortunately, at that time. So,
keeper quarterback, McGaffey.
And we'll see if Terrell Davis Barber, heavy dose of him. Now that it's a 3-score game, even though we are only in the 3rd quarter, when you've got 12-minute quarters and you really don't have a pass-happy attack, they used Lynch a lot in the first half. Did you get Kennedy offensive numbers, Bruce, on how many catches Lynch had for them in the first half?
I did not, but I know he had a couple.
Yeah, he had some good.
I think he had 3.
Clock keeps. Kennedy might need to think about going into the no huddle with split Two on the top of the screen as you got Southard up there along with Ortiz. Delay a game, maybe?
Flag on the play.
Yep.
But
delay
what
a game.
you could, and if you're watching the replay of this, you couldn't order a better night for football. We're
Delay
late
game on the
August, and
offense.
sometimes it can be warm, and it's, what, 70?
Half the
We didn't have
distance
any
to go.
clouds today. No
Still
wonder the
second
state fair's sent all kinds of attendance records this year, huh?
It is, and John, I mean, it is absolutely perfect down here.
And it's not just
No wind
It's not
either.
just good we're together. It's good weather.
And we hope that it stays this way, that the cold weather doesn't come in and bring us some of that. We've done games in the snow before.
I hate that Alberta Clipper when it moves in. I never know what happens in
That's right.
Alberta to cause clippers, but
Here's a
Oh,
quarterback. He's
oh!
under pressure. Fumble. Recovered by the Orioles.
touchdown.
Palmer.
Wow, he got a hand on it. I thought it was an attempt at a pass, but was it Palmer?
Yes, Palmer recovered it.
Wow.
In the end zone.
Rodelius Palmer.
McCarthy just he does a nice job on a low snap, but no, I'll tell you what, there was some
54.
black and I'll tell you what, Dylan Long didn't block anybody for Kennedy. Two guys walked in untouched.
Yeah, got to give
Missed assignments.
Gutierrez credit too, because Gutierrez was in there quickly.
Yeah, tell you, it's nice to have a holiday present in August, regardless of your faith, and there was no one to block, so McCarthy was left hung out to dry. Just hung out to dry. Ooh, there's a low line drive. Looked like he was going. I thought he was going to try to kick that into the Sam's Club parking lot about 4 blocks down. Tough to get to Sam's Club from here, but that was a low liner. Sorensen, good hands on the hold again. So Orioles perfect with the field goal and the 3 extra points. And as you mentioned, Bruce, that'll be interesting as we build forward into the season, because when you get into some closer games or hopefully build towards the playoffs and whatnot, this might be the first time in a period of years the Orioles might have a good place kicker. And we know several years ago when we did Vanille, the one young man they had that they sent over to kick at St. Thomas, I forget his name, but the great kicker they had. Remember how we do the Vanille games?
Right.
6-7 years ago? And
Cooper had
yeah.
back years ago had one of the better kickers too.
There's the golden idol, Clint Ewald, with that gray hair. The old Golden Valley High School coach. We were talking that Golden Valley had a high school that closed in 1980. I remember that, Bruce, because I was a 9th grader at St. Louis Park Junior High at Westwood. We had 2 junior highs back then. And there was all this debate about whether we could get the Golden Valley kids would come to St. Louis Park or they'd go to Hopkins, and they ended up closing Golden Valley High School, and they all went to Hopkins. Tim Donahue will never live it down, and Clint Ewald is part of that Golden Valley tradition. They're on the sideline again doing their rhythm dance or whatever it is. Nobody there to field it. Uh-oh, going sideways if you're a Kennedy fan, and he's in some serious trouble. Oh, maybe not. Look at the moves. Boy, that's a lot of work for only getting a 3-yard return. He ran almost 80 yards to get 3, but you got to credit his athleticism. 23 for Kennedy. Santos Ortiz, the junior. Ortiz was in no man's land on that kickoff. It was way over his head, Bruce.
Shoved out of bounds by number 22, Lopez Barrera. First down, Eagles.
So Park's defense is, with the interceptions and with the last touchdown, Park's offense still not on the field for the second half. And their defense has got a lot of practice in this game, with the turnovers as well. So Kennedy really going to have to open it up, down by 24 now.
McGaffey rolling.
Oh, McGaffey.
Under pressure by Berea. We're going to have a hold.
What an unbelievable tackle.
Two flags. Another one goes up late.
But that Lopez Barrera pursuit and then that ankle tackle, he literally dove from behind and got him, Bruce. They're probably going to get a hold anyway, which...
Well, we got a hold, but then we got a flag at the end of the play.
Yeah. We'll see.
So I think the flag at the end of the play could be on the Orioles. We'll see.
Might be offsetting and replay the down. We'll see. But anyway, great athleticism by Lopez Barrera, because McCaffrey was running... Not McCaffrey, McGaffey. You say McCaffey, I say McGaffey. You're driving me Mick crazy.
You're drinking too many McCafe.
Having too much fun again. So got a face mask. Oh, face mask on Kennedy. Personal foul on St. Louis. On Kennedy as well. And they're probably going to decline both of them because the play went nowhere anyway. Well, let's watch the replay. Don't watch the speed in the pursuit as he gets him. Look at that. He fights off the tackle. And then look at Shoestring City here. He just gets part of the foot. And, you know, it's really amazing that McGaffey didn't fumble that ball after getting tackled from behind with a shoe top tackle.
Referee's trying to.
There you see the Wolf man, Ben Wolf. I think it's his 4th year as the head coach. That seem about right, Bruce?
Personal
Yes.
foul is declined,
Yes, it does,
and the face mask is accepted.
I'm pretty sure you're right.
Park takes the face mask infraction.
Be half the distance to the goal.
So not what the doctor ordered. Down to the 2-yard line on the 2nd down and, or excuse me, they took the, surprised they took that. They only gained really 3 yards out of that. So 1st down and 20. They took the penalty. Yeah, they took the penalty and
Barber moves up into the set. McGaffey will hand up to Barber, inside handoff. Bauer in on the tackle that time for the Orioles.
28 Davis Barber.
we should mention, fans, if obviously you can't see what Bruce is doing here, but not only is he the play-by-play man of this broadcast, but he's got the binoculars working because we don't have a spotter for this game. And that makes it tough when you're doing the broadcast, and Bruce has got to try to recognize numbers or hear Howard Luloff's call on what number made the tackle. Good work out there, Bruce.
Yeah, it's just the eyesight has gotten so bad I have to have binoculars.
Right. You
I
don't
used to be able to see down on the field.
Right. You're not 20/20 anymore uncorrected.
I'm calling you when I need my prescription refilled. Here's Barber. Oh, what a great job.
I didn't get the
Thinking
numbers.
first was Bauer,
28 Davis
and then
Barber.
Lopez Pereira.
Lopez, we've been calling his name all day. What a great, and he's only a junior.
Watch Bauer, though, with the undercut
Brings
here.
up 3rd and long.
The beautiful Bauer. We mentioned him earlier from that free safety slot, and he's had to step up his game with the injury, obviously, as well, because when Adams went down, he's got to assume more duties when you're playing your 2nd and 3rd string strong safeties. He's got to overpinch from his strong safety slot.
Right.
Or from his free safety slot, I mean. But yeah, so good shout out to Adam Bauer, the junior.
So Kennedy pinned deep in their own territory. It's now 3rd down, about 20 yards to go. Trips to the near side.
Boy.
Back to pass. Here's a long throw over the middle, and no one's there.
And you know what? Trips on the bottom of the screen, obviously the decoy, but you know, not anything one-on-one coverage, but great safety support. Just nothing would go in there on that sequence at all.
St. Louis Park should have good field position here if they can hang on to the ball. Doing the punting for Bloomington Kennedy will be Trey Madison.
There's a nice shot on the sidewise as Clint Ewald sitting right next to his grandson Cole there. I just noticed that. It's Johnny Sorensen out there.
He's telling Palmer to get up on the line, do a little rush.
Orioles are going to rush all 10 this time. Morelli maybe going to drop back. Ooh, partially blocked.
That didn't have any height on it. I don't think it had any height on it.
Was that just that poor of a punt? It went off the side of his foot. He must have rushed it that quickly.
Well, we've seen a 15-yard punt before. Let's take a look at it.
Maybe he hit his own teammate with the punt partially.
Blocked and is down at the 21-yard line.
It
went off
a shoulder? Yeah, off of a shoulder. Boy, you don't see a shoulder block often in kicking, but...
Well, yeah, so St. Louis Park's going to have great field position again here.
Yeah, that 15-yard punt is not going to help things if you're a Kennedy backer.
Sledge in the backfield for the St. Louis Park Orioles this time.
Good work. Great camera work today, Paul, by your crack crew. I think you need to pay him another $2 an hour. Okay, little humor there.
Mitchell in motion to the near side. Back to pass. Sorensen, he's going to
Wide
throw.
open.
Wide open is Mitchell. He's got it.
You could see that Mitchell in motion with speed, and then he turns it upfield, and Lovelace nowhere to be seen on the coverage. And first offensive play of the half, correct, for St. Louis Park? Because their defense has been,
yes.
and that was at the 6:46 mark, and you get a quick touchdown, and then right back out their defense. Go practice.
Third touchdown
Wow.
pass of the game.
3 TDs already, and you can see the joy. And for Kennedy, a chance to work on their offense some more, and St. Louis Park hopefully get in plenty of their junior varsity and B squad defenders, as the score is now shot up to 31-0. We're only halfway through the third quarter. You can see Sorensen utilizing the speed in motion, and when he turns that up with a full head of steam, and he's 5-6 yards behind the defender and the safety. Even though when you put him in motion, you got to assume he's the guy that's going to be the lead person on the play. So I don't know what. We'll have to take a look and go to the. I don't know what Park's high besides the Southwest win 49-0. I don't know last year what their season high for points were. They scored 29 in the win over Park Center.
Yep.
But you're at 31 halfway through the third quarter. And hopefully, most important at this point, nobody gets any injuries, lots of depth. You've seen so much work out of your defense. I think the hope would be that you can get a lot more reps the last period and a half with your offense and just practice like the Vikings needed to practice with their offense after what we saw Sunday night.
We've seen St. Louis Park in Kennedy's position before. And
Right.
It's so tough for a coach, for John Anderson, saying this is our opening game of the season. You're all ready for it. Onside kick, and the Orioles recover it.
Oh boy, and that's poor John Anderson. His kids had no idea that was forthcoming, and Park onside kicked it, but it looks like Kennedy
got it.
Kennedy got it back, and it hit off the shin.
I think if you're John Anderson, you're probably not happy.
No, you're probably unhappy with that. And the kids.
Look at Park did have it.
He did have.
Park had the ball there, and he was down with his knee on the ground. I don't know how that got changed.
Actually, I believe it did not get changed because Sorensen is going out there with the offense, so they signaled the wrong direction.
Okay.
So Park does have the ball. They just made a mistake. even the referees can
First
make an
game
error.
for them. But again,
Yeah.
you're John Anderson. You are not happy with the Orioles right now.
Right.
An onside kick when they're leading 31-0.
And I would almost guarantee that Ben Wolf and the coaches didn't call that maybe was something the players might have done on their own, because normally a coach is very understanding of, especially in St. Louis Park position. They've had enough games on the receiving end to know that you never would want to have that done to you. But hopefully that was just a mistake made. But no matter what, it was a well-executed onside kick.
It was, right.
It was. He kicked it right into his shin, and then the Oriole player pounced on it.
It's also the first game of the season. You're trying different things to it that you may.
And your offensive players want to actually get on the field. They had only been on the field for one play, so maybe it's just a way of saying, hey, we want to get some reps for our offense. So there you see Barrera and Claire's lined up on the top side of the field.
And they have Sledge in the backfield. Sledge goes in motion. They're going to throw to him out of the backfield, and that was fortunately a forward pass.
Not sure what happened, if we got a holding behind the scenes or what happened, but little poorly, little mistake on the execution of the pass that time by Sorensen will make it second down. We'll see if it was on the Orioles, if they're going to move it back 8 or 10 yards, or
Orioles haven't committed.
Personal foul. Oh, and
roughing the
passer. I believe that was it 80. I was watching the end of the play there. 88, John Olson plays defensive line. He's going to get in, follow the play here and hit Sorensen in the back from behind. And obviously Johnny didn't like that. So 15 yards will make a first down. But that can happen over a frustration of how the game's going, let alone the onside kick. I mean, seriously, so. See if the Orioles can get Sledge involved in the running game and work on some things here.
From the 39-yard line, back to pass Sorensen. Now he rolls to the far side. He's got to throw across his body. He does, and it's incomplete.
Talk about
closest person there that time was Claire's.
To roll right as a left-handed thrower, then try to stop before you get creamed, and then still deliver the ball. If he can do that, he's playing football at the next level. And that's, you can see Johnny with he's been beat up a little bit today, but hasn't had that many reps. What did you have for 12 of 15 at the half, and then completed the first pass of the second half for a touchdown? So closing in on 200 yards of passing already.
See if they can get the running game going a little bit here.
I'm going to try to watch for different substitutes that might be in the game here, too.
Here's a quick pass. Complete.
And that's Karan Robinson, the senior.
His first catch of the game.
Yeah, Karan Robinson.
Number 17, Sorensen's pass is complete to number 18, Robinson.
Nice execution that time by Barrera on holding his block on the other cornerback. Created some space to make that a 6-yard, 5-yard pickup, too. I know we've called Barrera's name a lot today, but deservingly so for the junior. Here you see in the bottom of your screen, here's Lopez Perez.
Right.
5'7" junior wideout in the game. Nice
And
shovel.
the pitch. This is Sledge. Sledge gets big head of steam going forward and gets down to the 25.
Sledge got sistered on a nice tackle that time, but a nice gain by Sledge.
Great balance as he kept his feet churning that time, was able to stay on his feet once he took the initial hit.
Watch how quickly he shovels this. It's such a quick, it's almost a forward
Ladder,
pass.
it's almost like a lateral side.
Yeah, it's almost that it's literally almost a forward pass, but
that may have been the biggest run for the Orioles.
yeah, of course, in the 35 on the tackle.
Aside from Lopez Barrea's.
Shostran, one of the on the tackler. Apologize, Bruce. What were you saying?
Aside from the Lopez Barrea run, that was would have been Barrea's the run that time by Sledge on the previous play to this one was longest run for the Orioles from scrimmage.
Orioles get up here under 5 minutes. Still just the third quarter. St. Louis Park with 2 second-half touchdowns already, one on a defensive play.
Nice pass, complete.
Nice stiff arm by Barrera again that time. Get him not make it all the way, but he makes a good 5 or 6 yard gain. It'll be interesting to see his development. Now, he's 6'2", 185, I think, as a junior. But I don't know what his 40 time is, but he seems extremely athletic and fast. You know, as a potential college football player down the road, too. He's got some definite skills.
He does, and he's got a nose for the football.
Right. It's something that you really smelled out back behind Westwood in 3rd grade.
That was when that skunk was laying over on the side of the road.
Oh, nice fake by that time by Johnny.
Sorensen.
He fakes the pitch, which is he fakes the pitch. I don't know if the fake was intentional or, if
or the player wasn't there.
The player wasn't ready for the pitch. I'm not sure. But good fake that time, fake, and then he pulls it back, sells the linebacker out, breaks it up, and somehow gets 3-4 yards out of what could have easily been
4th down and 3.
a 4th and 3. See what St. Louis Park practices
They
here.
bring in the kicker to see if they're. I don't know if they're going to kick or if he's going to be a wide receiver here.
Well, they are going to kick it here. Okay, they're going to practice. So this would be something. A 34-yard high school field goal, and St. Louis Park hasn't had many field goals ever in the last 10 years. So.
Wow, he's got plenty of leg.
Wow, that could have made it from 50.
You know, if you ever want to say, where have you seen improvement this season? That is major
Let's
improvement.
watch this again. And great hold. Johnny's holds have been great all game, and great center snapping too. Gets it right down clean.
Just the difference from 1 year to the next. That is incredible.
Right.
There's a guy who's gone to kicking
Look
camp
at how
during
far
the summer.
back that lands.
That's a guy who's gone to kicking camp during the summer and
Right.
improved his kicking
Blocking,
game
yeah.
a lot. Yeah.
Right, and practiced it all spring as well, and has visions and maybe. And you know, the nice thing with all the different levels of football is, be it D1, D2, D3, or then you get into community college or NAIA football. There's so many different levels for these kids to play at after high school. I know I've got my 2 boys playing college baseball, but I also have my godson has played, and I find people all the time I run into aren't familiar with all the different things you can do with NAIA sports as well when you get out of the NCAA or community college environment. And
John Rudelius Palmer has been involved in the 3 scores here in the second half. He had the fumble recovery in the end zone. He had the extra point on the last one, and now he kicks a 34-yard field goal. So
good body for a kicker. Doesn't necessarily have the depth on the kickoff. That's something that, yeah, he only kicked that to the 18. A nice return here, several breaks. So that's something as a kicker, he's going to have to be able to continue. He's going to have to be able to get another 10 yards down the field, and maybe that'll be something he goes to a community college and works on for a year or two. You know, is Clint Ewald having to go out and get something that's
You know, Kennedy has not spent much time in the St. Louis Park side of the field in this game.
And you know, like we said, it was 4 years ago, we had a Park Kennedy playoff game, I believe, in October of 2014. So just 3 years ago, but boy, that was a 59-31 Donnybrook. Absolute, everybody scored who touched the ball, but Kennedy's numbers are down, and here's their backup quarterback in the game.
Yeah,
that's number 16.
That's Courtier, your
I
guy.
apologize. Yeah. He hasn't done enough defensively. He's an excellent captain and senior leader for them, but he's at 6'3", 210. We're going to have him play some quarterback and get some reps.
So Courtier,
Yep. Him and McCaffrey and Terrell Williams are the captains, along with Brandon Shostrand for Kennedy. Trips to the bottom of the screen here.
Davis Barber remains in the backfield. Low snap, back to pass under pressure, rolling, and just throwing it out of bounds.
Good play there. Nothing you can do. Good. You can see his athleticism though at 6'3", 210 to elude the smaller, maybe potentially a little bit faster player, and he fields a really low snap. And he's got no chance.
That's Jacob Riley coming from the outside.
Riley, a senior, along with Lopez Barrera, and you just got to get rid of it. You knew what that was like, Bruce, in third grade when you were playing, and you never got it the blocks you should have got, and you had to run to the sideline.
I really was sitting on the bench. I never got on the field, John.
You were doing his stats. Exactly. You had the headset on already at age 8.
Back then, the water bottle was that I was handing to the players was only so big. There's the pitch. Barber gets across the 40 to about the 42.
Try to see defensively some of the other substitutions St. Louis Park is making. 16 and 42 on the tackle for St. Louis Park, so obviously Morrison, who's still in the game. Orioles don't have you can see they don't have a really big roster, and neither does Kennedy, so in a lot of positions you really only have one backup. So even in a game like this, Park unfortunately is going to have to play a lot of their starters. Probably will have to continue to stay in the game, as you see Dvorak and Lopez Barrera still in there, and you want to build up the conditioning too. First game of the year, right?
Karan Adams again is sat out with something with his hip.
There's
Courtier with a nice first down.
You can see his athleticism, and even though they have to use him defensively, you can see that he's got great horizontal and vertical quickness, and very elusive on that play, even to just break 2-3 tackles and get 5-6 yards.
Well, let alone, he's played both offensively and defensively. So coming from the defensive side of the ball and now playing quarterback, having to run the ball. As this game wears on, you start getting a little bit tired. We'll see how he handles that. And
just looking the way he leads the team, he might not have the physical passing skills maybe that McCaffrey has, but, it's a lot like, if you've got two guys that have different set skills, look at the Gopher football team today, having to play two guys probably the first 2 games and see who sits well, and nothing wrong with that going into the season. There's some nice elusiveness by Terrell.
Barber.
Yeah, Terrell Davis Barber. You should get Marion Barber on the phone and tell him that you ran into Terrell Davis Barber, a loose relative of his. How's Thomas Barber doing for the Gophers? Have you heard? Or
I think they're expecting big things from him. They think he's improved a lot. He'll get a lot of playing time at linebacker this year.
Yeah, I was hoping to tape the game and see him against Buffalo tonight.
Yeah, I think right now they're
a lot of Armstrong connections with Daryl Thompson doing the broadcasting, and Marion Barber, and then a couple kids from Cooper. So District 281 represented pretty good over there.
14-7 in the 4th.
Is that all it is? Wow.
Oh, look at
Another
Yeah.
shoestring tackle from behind. Boy,
Pereira.
he did it again. Pereira again,
Is
22.
taken down by number 22, Lopez Pereira.
Well, you can see that speed, and to catch him from behind, he beats his man so
Loss of the
clean.
play brings up
And then he
third
uses
and
that dive technique,
Gets
and
the
he's got
shoes-
strong hands to handle the ankle, and you've got to make a dive over a big 205-pound quarterback like that and haul him down.
Now it's 3rd down and 11 from the 44-yard line. St. Louis Park gets a defensive call from the field. Long huddle this time by the Eagles.
Eagles with,
They're going to send number 88, John Olson, to the near sideline.
and that'll be the end of the third period here. So
That's the end of the third quarter.
17 big third quarter points on a defensive touchdown right at the start of the quarter, and then a quick touchdown pass, and then a nice 34-yard field goal. And
Yeah, the Orioles were up 17-0 at halftime and outscored Kennedy 17-0 there in the third.
right.
As you mentioned, 34-0.
We should mention the Orioles take a real big improvement in competition next week. St. Louis Park going to be at Robbinsdale Cooper on Friday, September 8th, I believe. And then also the next home game 2 weeks from tomorrow against Holy Angels here on Friday, September 15th. Make sure you let your friends know and go on the gopark.org website if you want to know the schedules. Gopark.org, gopark.org. Click on all the schedules, and then they even have the conference schedules. And oh, there you go. Paulie's got the schedule up here. And then September 28th, I won't be here, but that'll be fun when Benilde, the defending state champions in 4, comes across town. And I know John and Patrick Krieger have another good team again, and we'll be doing at least 1 or 2 of their games this year too. You can see even that De La Salle beat St. Louis. Orono's a pretty good program. Park's had some success against Richfield historically, so that's really a big test going up to Cooper next week.
We should mention that they've opened up the scheduling again this year.
Yeah,
See,
oh, good for you.
So it allows now to play some teams that maybe are a little bit more at your level versus what they had last year. So
Right, having to play Totino or Spring Lake Park every year, or, right. Back to the North Suburban days, yeah.
back to pass, Courtier.
Nice
Throws to the
arm.
near side, and it's just over the outstretched arms that time of number 23, Ortiz. He seems to be the go-to guy downfield.
Nice arm on the senior. We hadn't seen him play a lick, and he just rifled that 45 yards on the field with authority. You know, even though he's not listed as
223s there, and Ferris has a lot of speed, but Ortiz was able to get a couple steps on him.
You know what's tough if you're a school like Kennedy? You get a kid like Isaac Cotier, who's one of your biggest guys and probably one of your best athlete by far overall. And maybe ideally he's not the perfect quarterback, but he's, you know, where do you use him? They really need him on the offense and the defense. He can't come off the field.
Courtier rolls to the near side. He's got a lot of Orioles around
look at him throw that off the
Throws it
back
complete.
foot. That is impressive. He's going to the short side, Bruce, on the left side, and he's got all his momentum going to his left shoulder, and he stops and plants and throws it 35 yards. I like that. Let's watch the replay of that. That deserves some credit.
And watch the wide receiver, Avilas Rizzo, down.
Boom. He stopped enough, and he really lasered that down there. Yeah, nice tackle that time by the kicker as well, who's done, as a backup safety, done a nice job for St. Louis Park.
Palmer in on the tackle.
Yeah.
We may have a penalty again.
Yeah.
Boy, every big play that, well, no, it's against Orioles, so this will not come back. They're saying Kennedy's was hurt by a penalty earlier.
Well, it's, you know, you got
one of their big plays.
I'm happy for Kennedy that time too. It's really nice to have a really positive sequence of plays where you get something moved down the field and you want some things to build on. It's the first game of the season. You want some positive things to happen.
When we mentioned Kennedy was shut out 3 times last year.
Right.
And so, you know, they really would like to get this ball in the end zone to try to improve on last year's team. Courtier has done a good job.
Yeah.
He's got Barber in the backfield.
Oh, nice shovel. That was a nice pitch right there.
Barber spin move, and we get a flag.
Thrown right at number 7 for Kennedy. I'm not sure if that was a hold or if we had a illegal block below the belt, or It was a nice shove. It was a nice pitch, though. It was a really nice pitch.
Illegal block, but
yeah, illegal block.
But
Block
what a
in the back
great
on the
spin
Eagles.
by Barber too here.
Watch how quick he delivers with his left hand, too. The little subtle things, but boom, he sells it. Two guys go for the ball. Or excuse me, go for the quarterback, and he
Watch that
delivers
spin
it.
right there.
Yeah, good call. That's why he's wearing number 28 like his Uncle Terrell Davis. Uncle Terrell gave him that jersey. Hopefully Uncle Terrell will, maybe share some of the wealth. Little joke for all you people who are way too young to know who even Terrell Davis was. So,
Number one fantasy pick for many years with the
yeah.
Denver Broncos. Huh?
And you're always a fantasy juggernaut. Big draft this week for you.
It
Bruce.
is.
I'm
It
sure
is.
you're
Getting ready for that
nervous wreck.
Sunday morning.
You must be nervous. I know you put up the mortgage this year. Ooh,
There's another late pitch to Barber. This time he's brought down.
boy. They're trying to go on the left side as they're constantly running behind their left guard, Valiant Taylor and also Tyler Nanoff, but just not getting any food because the right side of the Oriole defense and their linebacking core are able to pursue with strength.
And
Including Morelli.
Yeah, Morelli making the tackle there.
Just nowhere to go with this pitch.
Brings up second and goal.
And it's really difficult when Jacob Riley can go in there unmolested, not even touched. He's got to deliver that. He's got to deliver that pitch in about a half of a second, which just isn't fair to him as well. I do enjoy the spread offenses, though. It makes the game so much more wide open and gives the smaller teams a chance, too.
Courtier back as time throws. And
Nice
intercepted.
interception by Dvorak. Boy, did he have that inside
Right.
position. And Riley Dvorak, the senior, showing that great three-sport athleticism again.
He did not have the height, but he had the position, and he did a
16's
great
pass
job.
is intercepted by number
pulled down
20,
that football.
Dvorak.
And that's truthfully a pattern where Courtier, as a relatively inexperienced senior quarterback, he got under that pass too much. He threw it a little too high in the air.
First down, Orioles.
He almost needed a deeper drop, and look at
You see the height differential, but
Right.
you see what a great job inside position that Riley had.
Yeah, we mentioned him as a great shortstop, and he's going to get a lot of chances to play baseball or hockey at the next level, or possibly even football, depending on what option he wants to go with. So,
See if the Orioles bring in a different quarterback here.
so this is the sophomore Ellingson now in the game, 6'1".
Look how fast he rolls to the near side. And that pass incomplete, intended that time for
Number
number
6,
84.
Wasn't there an
Is it complete?
Ellingson a couple years ago with
Yeah.
Park? Is this a younger brother? Does anyone know?
You're not
Okay.
getting many answers.
Not
right
any
here.
answer. It's as quiet as a mouse. No answers here. Okay. Well, anyway, this is Aaron Ellingson, who also plays safety, the sophomore. See what other numbers. It looks like we have, there's Cole Ewald on the bottom of the screen. 14 now in the game, another sophomore. Top of the screen, I'm not sure. We've got a smaller wideout out there.
Rolling, throwing to the near side.
Ball is dropped.
Dropped.
I thought a good pass that time.
Yeah.
It was 84, Tony Stadler. Another sophomore. Getting a lot of those B squad sophomores all in the game here, which is what you.
But watch the pass. It was a good pass.
Yeah. And he's a sophomore.
On the run, throws it right in his arms.
Yeah. Maybe a tad behind him, but he might have heard the footsteps of that good athlete, that DeAndre Lovelace, who was closing.
Trips to the near side.
I like saying that name, DeAndre Lovelace. I'm sure he's popular with the young ladies.
Encroachment again on the defense.
Encroachment on the Eagles, 5-yard penalty.
You know,
We're not going. We're not
I
going.
love the fact it's all, you know what's great. I remember have you ever had this question? What is offsides versus encroachment? Do you want to take that one, Bruce, or should I?
You can. Go ahead.
You want me to take it?
Yeah, sure.
Encroachment technically is when you violate the neutral zone, and offsides is when you can line up illegally offsides. Technically, with the movement, the encroachment is more when you actually make the movement towards being offside. But it's kind of a small thing. They still signal it. And now Bauer is that?
No,
Oh no, that's
the
still
keeper.
Ellingson. Yeah. I just love the word encroachment. You're encroaching on me. Bruce, stop encroaching in my personal space.
Well, we're going to have to punt the football. One of the few punts that.
Now, another thing that's fascinating about Johnny Sorensen, he's a left-handed quarterback, right? He pitches the baseball left-handed. Watch how he punts the football.
Right-footed.
Right-footed. That is, to me, really unusual that you left-handed throw, do everything left-handed, but you somehow punt right-handed, right-footed.
Well, almost blocked. Ortiz is going to field this
with
football on the
speed.
run.
He's got
Takes
a
it to
lane.
the 40, 35, and out of bounds.
The Eagle almost landed that time as he almost flew down the sidelines with some speed.
Return by number
Just
23,
did it go
Ortiz.
almost go through his arms, Paul? On that, or
First down, Eagles.
it almost looked like it was. It looked like it could have been blocked or even caught off that, but nice camera work. It sure is nice to have these high-def cameras, and St. Louis Park taxpayers have definitely got their money's worth over the years with these HD cameras for cable. That's my little.
Gophers, if you're not watching the Gopher game right now,
You're watching
live,
this.
It's 14-7, 4 minutes to go.
Wow, so much for covering the spread in week 1. Uh-oh.
Here comes
Oh! Wow, was that a face mask? I don't know if I've ever seen a face. He's going to get a touchdown possibly on this. Wow. Somebody could have broke a neck on that play. I hope we can slow that down. I don't know if I've ever seen anyone pulled so violently to the turf. Wow. You guys, we got to gather around and watch this. They called that a hold, but to me, I guess he, wow. Or what? Was it his shoulder he pulled down so hard?
Holding on the Eagles.
I don't even know if we have the play. Oh, you can't even tell.
Right.
Oh, it was his shoulder to Dvorak. He just got through. And Riley's a big, strong kid, so. I thought it was a face mask, and I thought somebody's neck might have been landing on the 35-yard line.
Well, and I think Southern knew what happened, so he didn't.
Right.
He
Good
just
camera
sort of went
work.
out of bounds on the far side.
Look at his whole body. He gets thrown at, I mean, in one, geez, 52? 58 for Kennedy on that. That was, oh, and Park.
Bad snap.
Uh-oh.
Kukir throws to the near side. It's complete.
Yep, just saw a hold uncalled there. He's going to call it anyway. Hold on the receiver for Kennedy, but Achille Ferris is holding the Oriole player, but I don't. They're going to decline that. I think it takes a second and 20 anyway.
Brought down by number 23, Ferris.
They might call it use of the hands here. Holding.
Right. This one, as you mentioned, is declined.
Nice job by recovering and at least getting something on at that time. The hold was way before that. As you can see the referee throwing it. We're down to 9 minutes and change here. Still 34-0 Park. Bruce Hoberman back for year 39 behind the mic. Have we ever counted how many games between all the sports?
I know I was getting close to 1,000.
Oh, there's a nice tackle, open field that time by Riley Dvorak as he grabs him upper thighs and he really wrapped him well with both arms. Dvorak again.
Yeah, that was Barber again carrying the football. So
yeah,
we're seeing some reserves come into the game for Kennedy, but they're keeping the same running back in the game.
Right.
Terrell Davis Barber.
Yeah, Davis Barber. 3rd and 30. That's a tough one.
Third down, yeah, long way to go.
What would you call here in your Sandlot game, Bruce? Is this where you call the hook and ladder down 34?
You got to do the crisscross.
The crisscross.
That's right.
Definitely. They're gonna
You
take
go
a
here,
timeout.
you go here, then cross.
Interesting
There you go.
time to take a timeout. I mean, what do you draw up when you take the timeout on the 3rd and 30? Which way do you go? What are you thinking, Coach?
I think at this point you go for
Then I'll take a knee, right?
go for 10 or 15. Take a little at a time, Johnny. Okay, they're going to go for it on 4th down anyway. So.
Oh, this is the Kennedy schedule, Paul. He's got up. I know it says Irondale, but it is Kennedy. You can see they have Chaska at home next week. Then, boy, at Waconia. We mentioned Waconia opens with Brooklyn BSM tomorrow. Cooper, Jefferson, Napa Valley, Chanhassen, Richfield. So Richfield might be the only other winnable game, truthfully, on that schedule. I guess I don't know, but hopefully Kennedy can pull it together and have a good week of practice and enjoy the holiday, enjoy Labor Day.
Go to the state fair.
Enjoy the nice one.
John, you go to the state fair yet? Oh yeah, you were there.
Yeah, I was there yesterday actually.
I
And
saw some pictures.
Well, yeah, some pictures. I'm Johnny Solo now, so I'm going to the fair. Sometimes I kind of like going to the fair by myself though, because I can do whatever I want whenever I want to do something, which is fun too. So I don't have a posse like you do following me around, Bruce. A posse.
Courtier, he'll roll to the far side. He's got
Bauer.
Bauer there, and Bauer.
Yep. Boy, look at this.
Well, look
the
at
strength
Courtier
though,
is
boy.
trying hard, but
Yeah, Bauer made the first contact, but then he
Number 16,
quite a good athlete.
one thing
so-
you'll see that, but one thing the Orioles
You're
have
right,
done
Paul.
well is when they miss the tackle, there's always 2 or 3 other Orioles that are quickly there
Brought down by number 4,
to
Bauer.
prevent that long run. Last year
Look at that hold right there.
Last
I don't know
year-
if you saw Morrison
Yeah.
get thrown to the
No,
ground,
no,
literally,
no,
but
fourth down.
no penalty though.
But
But you're
la-
right though,
last
gang
year,
tackling.
Well, last year we
Pursuit.
saw so many big long plays, and just Orioles have prevented the long play of this game.
Well, my guess is too they did a lot of work in their 7-on-7 summer ball. Coach Wolf has been around long enough now with his staff that I'm sure most of these kids, I'm sure he really marketed and promoted the fact of how they ended the season with 2 wins in their last 4 games. And then tried, and then I'm sure he got a lot of senior leadership this summer out of Dvorak and Ellingson and Karan Adams and Jacob Riley, all those kids. And then you're right, the improvement of Palmer as a kicker. Did he kick last year and I just don't remember
He
it?
did.
or-
He did.
Yeah, I really don't remember that. So
Well, they didn't kick many extra points last year.
right. If you want to get a copy of this game, remember to go to ParkTV.org. That's also Paul Broden's number if you want to join his fan club. He's the director of this broadcast, or get any feedback on things you'd like to see,
Or-
order DVDs,
Or if you'd ever like to volunteer for
volunteer.
Park TV cable.
Right, there's a lot of events, be it volleyball, be it girls basketball, et cetera, that we like to cover, but we can always use more hands on board.
Well, they call the timeout for the punt.
Timeout for the punt. Get the new punter in there.
Ferris, and we got
Who's on the return here? There's a little, a couple of Eagles. One kind of rode him down to the ground like he was riding a calf down. He had his arm around his,
Number 3, Mitchell.
did you see that? He had his arm around his helmet and kind of rode him to the ground. That again was Trayton Madison on the punt, the sophomore for Kennedy doing the punting.
Brought down by number 20.
I was looking to see if there's any Circle Me
First
John
down, Orioles.
signs out there, but I don't see any.
I don't even know if most people have the volume up at this point in the broadcast. If you do want to get a DVD copy of this game or any game, remember you can get 3 for $10 a piece, or else one of them is $15 if your son is playing out there or you do want to get a copy. Go to that Park TV site.
Well,
There's a
other-
nice fake.
Yeah.
Wow,
Ellingson.
nice job by
Ellingson.
Ellingson with space. Look
Look
at
at
that
him go, he's got some
elusiveness.
speed.
Wow. 35 yards for the sophomore, and he literally almost nothing in the
Number
backfield.
6, Ellingson on the carry. Brought down by number 15 for the Eagles.
Now, we should also
That's
say
the Orioles.
that this game is available just by going on ParkTV.org.
Right.
And so if you have relatives, family out of town, you're able to still
Watch it.
watch these games. So.
Yeah, they don't have to have cable TV. We have access to the computer and then all the web streaming. Paul puts all the events on the internet off Park TV. So, good reminder, Bruce. That's why you've been here 39 years and I've only been here 8. I don't remember everything.
John, you went back. You did a game like
1980.
30 years ago.
Well, 1980, I was on camera for you when I was a 10th grader, but obviously I didn't do it.
There's another run.
Ellingson again.
Look at the blocks.
Boy,
down.
is
he goes
he-
to the outside.
He might
Ellingson
be
is
gone.
fast. He is.
Wow.
He's
He's
got
gone.
He's got a lot
Did
of
he
speed.
make it? No, he's out of bounds at the 2-yard line, 5-yard line. But boy, I don't know if he's on the track team yet at Park, but I think he might be a recruit.
Shoved out of bounds.
He is quick, so that gives him a different element when he's in the game.
Boy, did he do a good job using his blocks too, going backwards that time and letting the Brockman. Would like to see him put the ball in the left hand here as he's running down the left sideline there, but he almost made it all the way in. So.
Right to about the 7-yard line, and so or 6, they're going to call it.
So Ellingson and these sophomores getting a lot of work on the first unit for St. Louis Park. We mentioned some. There's Alejandro Carcares, a sophomore or junior out there. You've got A.J. Dat, the junior in the backfield, like saying that name, Dat in the backfield.
There's a quarterback keeper again. And look at Ellingson as he gets in the end zone for a touchdown.
Wow. So
That
3
was-
carries for 60 yards practically? Wow, I don't know what the official knows. So nice job, Aaron Ellingson, the sophomore, your first varsity touchdown, and way to lead the team down the field. Dat with a fake. Yeah, is it running time after 40? It's 35, so fourth quarter. Yeah, so we're at running time after the extra point here. So, and if A.J. Dat gets back in the game 25, what we're going to say is when he gets the ball, we're going to go,
Who dat?
Who dat?
Sometimes afterwards you just wish you didn't say that, don't you, John?
That's why I be quiet sometimes.
There's a quarterback, he
mistake
spins. Ellingson
Ellingson
throws,
gonna throw.
through the hands.
And maybe just wanting to get him a chance to
Number 6, Ellingson
work on
pass
that.
falls
And
incomplete.
we've obviously practiced the field goal kicking enough tonight. That was 85, Sam Tyne, the sophomore tight end linebacker, the receiver there. Another fake. Orioles sure like moving their receivers, and you've got 2 very elusive quarterbacks. One thing that'll be interesting is with the skill set that Ellingson might have, if you have an injury in your wideout core, Bruce, Sorensen can go back to wide receiver.
Right.
He's done it for years. That's his normal position.
That's a good point, John.
And, it'll be interesting as the season goes on, because Johnny last year caught, let me take a look at this. He had 241 yards of receiving off of 16 catches last year, so he can catch 3-4 balls a game too. And
What's great is that you've got a sophomore getting
Yeah.
some playing time in a game here.
in a varsity game, right? Right, and now we'll have to find out. We'll have to talk to a little bit about this. How these seniors, it looks like, are leading. The senior captains lead all the players on this back and forth kind of college drill and chanting, it's like the New Zealand rugby, the New Zealand Blacks or whatever they're called. They always do that chanting. Yeah. I was gonna say, there's a nice kickoff down to the 10.
Good move to the near side. There's number 23,
Number 23 on their charge.
Ortiz again.
Penalty play on the board.
Or Ferris, and probably the best kickoff of the night. Taking a look, see if we see any other substitutes in the game.
John, the Orioles have done a good
Joe
job.
Donahue in there again, Joseph Donahue.
John, the Orioles have done a good job protecting the football in this game too.
Yep, good point, Bruce. No turnovers equals happy coaches.
Personal foul on the Orioles.
I don't know if we
15-yard
have,
penalty.
Paulie, if you saw what that had, we have that again. If it was a late hit, one of the Oriole coaches, was that Coach Wolf out there, trying to get an explanation. If it was a late hit, we'll watch again here, see if there's anything we could see. Do we see anything not near the play? Maybe.
Oh,
Yeah, unless it was downfield or some kind of talking. So 4 at quarterback, Robert Turnbull, the junior. So 3rd quarterback on the night for Kennedy, Turnbull. Oh,
there's
almost runs into the up man. Now Davis not in the game, but a nice job whoever's running.
Yeah,
Talk
that's
about wow. It
number
took-
22, Theo Simmons.
Theo must have got hit by 7 or 8 players before he went down. He's only a sophomore for Kennedy.
Looked like a pinball machine there.
Boom, he gets bumped by his quarterback first. How many times? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Brought down by number 10, Riley
6.
for the Orioles.
God, it was like 8 or 9 Orioles got touched him at different points of the game. So as we are only 5 minutes remaining, and the score is right. St. Louis Park opening game of the 2017 season, 40-0 over former conference rival Bloomington Kennedy.
And the pitch.
Bauer with a nice partial arm tackle at 22, misdirection.
he's got
Walter
room.
Payton personified.
Oh, we got a flag in the backfield though.
That was possibly the greatest negative 3-yard run I've ever seen in my life.
22 on the carry for the Eagles.
The longest.
He went, and Bauer almost made a miraculous arm tackle way on the other side. And we're going to have maybe a block from behind here. I know.
Right.
And was it 22 on the carry for Kennedy? Was that Theo
They waved
Simmons
it off.
again? So Simmons is going to get pursued heavy by Bauer out here. Arm tackle, he 180s him. Then he goes on the back, boy. And then he doesn't get, and there's no,
Right there.
a shoulder.
But it was not from behind. So.
It was not. Stadler received a good one, and then after all that, it's a 3-yard loss. And they don't even offer him any oxygen either, you know. I mean, he basically ran 2 40-yard dashes.
Gophers are up 17-7 now.
So Gophers will win their
2:05
opener,
to
the
go in the
Fleck
fourth.
era.
Run to the near side.
Simmons just totally out of gas. He literally didn't look like he had any energy left after that play, and they gave him the ball again. So
It looked like McGregor in the fight last week towards.
yeah, towards the end, you're right. I watched that live too. Did you have a party to watch it or go to one?
Went to one, yeah.
I didn't.
Actually.
We should call Paul, exactly.
Actually, when the wife decided she was going to bed early, I made one call and I was over.
You were over.
Watching the.
Good for you. You didn't encourage Dana to go to bed early, did you? Aren't you feeling tired Saturday night, honey?
Right.
You need a good night rest.
You need to get up early tomorrow morning. Yeah. All right.
Okay, enough of that. So what do we got here? This is the punting formation again. See who the Orioles have back to receive this one. This, I believe, is 27 again. This is Brown. Brown got
And he
blacked.
Right. He
Boy,
got whacked, but he also
he got black and blued.
slipped a little bit there.
Right. You know, I was at a Twins game once in I think 1984, and we're talking about colors, browns and blacks and all that. You know, grays and yellows and purples. And I remember that Darrell Brown was batting for the Twins, and he hit a ground ball over to Frank White, who threw it to Gary Gray for the out.
That was a colorful play.
And guess who was pitching? Vita Blue. So it went blue to brown, over to white to gray.
Who was on first?
You'd get a kick out of that. Blue to brown to white to gray.
And who was on first?
It was Gary Gray.
Yeah, exactly. Just kidding.
Sorry, had nothing to do with the football game. Sorry.
Ellingson. He's going to throw it.
That's a nice little screen to 24 there. Nice job receiving that.
Fumble.
Fumble after the tackle there. I believe 7 partially.
Kennedy's going to come up. The Eagles are going to come up with the football.
Yeah, Mecca Turner, along others, on the tackle for Kennedy. 24 on the reception that time for Park. I don't have a number or a name on him.
He's not on our roster right now, so
the
we
invisible
apologize,
man, Claude Rains, on
but
the
it's
reception,
sometimes
24.
good. Sometimes good when you can't call his name when he fumbles the football, right?
Right. Well, he did make a good catch, and he turned it upfield. We're getting a report from Marnie Gellner that Holberman with that catch. Holberman on the catch. Bruce stepping away momentarily.
Number 24, John, was McCabe Dvorak.
Oh, Riley's probably little brother. McCabe Dvorak is 24, guys. That must be his younger brother, McCabe. I'm sure he's a hockey player, too. So we got now St. Louis Park gets the ball back.
Again,
so it's the season of giving, and
there's a fumble right there, and
58 on the return or on the recovery. We mentioned Joseph Donahue earlier, and another good play by Joe Donahue. And he's got, what is he holding up there? A trophy?
The football.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh no, the belt.
He's got a belt.
Yeah.
The W. He's literally the champ now. It's a gold belt they carry or something, or you get it for a good play when you get off the field. Clint Ewald gives it to you, maybe.
Vikings are losing, but the punter just kicked a field goal, so I'm not sure how that happened. Quigley with the field goal for the Vikings.
Vikings really looking ready for the season, the last 2 exhibition games.
Second down.
Happy that they don't start till, they don't play till Monday night. They open against the Saints and Adrian Peterson,
Yeah,
September 11th.
That should be a great crowd and pretty electric atmosphere over there at US Bank.
So here's Ellingson. Dad again in the backfield there. You see Sam Tyne wind up at the tight end slot.
Well, the clock's
Tony Stadler out
It's running
there.
time too. We should mention, John. So we're down to 40 seconds
the last play
to
of the
go.
game here. Yeah, probably. Or yeah, it probably will.
They're just going to down it.
Well,
here.
Bruce, a lot of good things today. You saw the great Oriole passing attack. You saw, good defensive touchdown to start the second half. We talked about the excellent place kicking improvement and distance that we saw.
We saw a lot of, you see the morale on the team. This is a team that seems like they're together, the way they're dancing on the sidelines. They had a lot of fun here tonight in this football game.
And well,
it's easy to have when you're winning like that, but they deserved it, and they know they played well, and
a lot of applause, and you can see what a great game to build on. St. Louis Park, we mentioned, ended last year with 2 wins in their last 4 games, and they open up with possibly their biggest win in a decade or two, 40-0. We had that one Richfield game a couple years ago that was a big win too, but doesn't really get much better than that. And you know, nice to have the holiday break before you go into what's going to be a really huge upgrade in opponents to play Cooper. But irregardless, it builds some confidence. It makes it more fun to go to practice next week.
right. And if you do lose to a team like Cooper, and maybe you lose fairly bad, you can go back to this first game.
Right.
If it happens.
Right.
Hopefully,
yeah, you have to come to build on, exactly.
But I think, you know, and we talk about Cooper, and we look at some of the all-conference players that they do have on their team, and that's, you know, it will be tough. But this Oriole team has looked very good in this game, and it should be very interesting to see how they do, how they stack up against a team like Cooper.
I just wanted to point out something. Number 34 is not on the roster for St. Louis Park, but he has a partial jersey on, and he's being kind of partially carried by Josh Smith. So
you know what,
34
John,
and 31 are out for St. Louis Park, and
John,
hopefully they'll be okay.
John, you know, something I think happened to number 34 during warm-ups.
Oh, okay.
Because I walked by him, and I didn't see his name or their own names on the back of the jersey, but as the team went off the field before the game to do their final preparations, he stayed on the training table, and it looked like his ankle, he couldn't put any pressure on it. So again, I'm not sure what happened before the game started, and you can see their
yeah, they're still so really nice job by the Park Cable crew. I want to thank Paul and Kurt, and I don't know who was on our second camera today, Paulie, but they did a good job. Again, the next home game is Friday, September 15th here. Friday, September 15th is Angels comes to town, Holy Angels. So sure had a lot of fun, Bruce. We won't be doing a game for a few weeks because I'm going to be out of town, but I know
we're going to miss you, John. You bring a lot of insight, and it's always a pleasure doing games with you. So
really enjoy it.
On behalf of John Fromm, I'm Bruce Holborn. We want to thank everyone for joining us. The final score here from St. Louis Park. St. Louis Park Orioles 40 and the Bloomington Kennedy Eagles 0.
Good night, and have a great Labor Day weekend, everybody. Drive safe.